Hey everyone, Brian from 3 Geeky Dads here. Before we begin tonight's episode, I just want everyone to know that we are now sponsored by Audible. As an IT professional for a school department, I find myself behind the wheel of my car traveling between schools almost all day long, and that's where Audible comes in. Right now, I'm enjoying listening to Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, read by Stephen Fry. It's so enjoyable to hear this hilarious audiobook read by a proper British comic actor. And that's just scratching the surface. Audible is the leading provider of spoken word content, with everything from bestsellers, celebrity memoirs, and news to podcasts. Yes, if you're into podcasts, and you're listening to us right now, so we can assume you do, Audible has got you covered. Just go to www.audibletrial.com/3GD to get your free 30-day trial today. That's www.audibletrial.com/3GD to get your free 30-day trial. You'll get 1 credit, 2 credits if you're already an Amazon Prime member. That's good for any premium selection titles you like, and they're yours to keep. You also get the Audible Plus catalog of podcasts, audiobooks, guided wellness, and Audible originals. Listen all you want. No credits needed. Again, that's www.audibletrial.com/3GD. $14.95 a month after your 30-day trial. Cancel at any time. Audible. Stay informed, connected, and inspired. And now, on with the show.
Warning, incoming dad joke. Warning, incoming dad joke.
Hey guys, what does King Arthur do when he has an idea to bring to his knights?
Oh no, what?
Well, he holds a round table discussion.
The table's round.
Oh, and I just realized where that phrase came from. Nice start.
You know who made the round table?
A carpenter.
Circumference.
Oh, shit, son.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
It looks like a pink nightmare.
Christmas as in Yule log. Not a log, I don't have a log, but it's...
All that I have, all that I've learned, everything I feel, all this and more I bequeath you, my son.
Your father was Frankenstein, and your mother was the lightning.
We named the dog Indiana.
I am the father.
Beautiful way to bring that back,
Yeah.
Brian. Awesome job. That was teamwork right there.
It makes the dream work.
That was teamwork. Hello and welcome to another thrilling episode of 3 Geeky Dads. The show now brought to you by the new Jeff Bridges Home Decor for when you really need to tie the room together. And guys, put a coaster down. There's a beverage here.
Well, forgive me.
Nicely done. Nicely done. That was very professional. I am Mark, and with me, as always, are the King Arthur and Ron Jeremy, to my guys who both sport an impressive sword.
Wow. And Brian.
And joining us, as always, to say F you to math and the accuracy of our show title, the man who puts the 4 in the 4 seasons, Tito.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, him getting it. 4 rooms.
Yeah, like the,
you are, right?
Hotel. I was just thinking about the time that Rudy Giuliani booked the 4 seasons, but it was actually like a mechanic. And they had to do the thing outside
I heard
of the
about
4
that.
seasons.
Yes,
I had no idea.
It was very funny.
The press conference. You don't remember that?
No,
The press conference
pay
outside of
attention
like
to
a
reality.
mechanic. It's hilarious.
No,
it was very funny.
I can't watch
They
anything.
were like, we planned this all along.
I want to know how the mechanic shop was like, yeah, sure, do a press conference in front of our place.
They better got some business.
How's everybody doing?
Oh, just
everybody
fine.
having a good week out there? Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
Oh, yeah, don't you know?
It's been cold, like in Minnesota lately. So.
Yeah,
And then
the
it's
last
been
few
warm,
days,
like
it's been
in-
deep in the
And now it's
temperature
warm.
bases.
The weather is really
and forth.
Sybil, man. It's all over the place.
No wonder.
Sybil.
I got that reference.
Did you?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I'm
Did
old.
you ever see that movie?
I did not, but I know of it, so
Margot Kidder?
I'm even more impressed with myself.
Kind of funny.
Oh, is it a biopic?
It's a biopic.
I mean, an autobio?
No, it wasn't
autobiopic?
Margot Kidder.
Was it Margot
Sally
Kidder?
Field.
Oh, Sally Field.
I think it was Sally Field was in
wow.
Sybil.
She must have been playing Margot Kidder.
That could Sally Field is Margot Kidder and batshit crazy. Speaking of which, well, folks, it's that time of year again. A time when we let our hair down, those who have it, I mean, and unlock the padded cells because the inmates have returned for another month of In the March of Madness. All month long, we have 4 movies all dealing with the bizarre and downright batshit crazy. See, I wrote that in there.
That was an excellent segue.
Look at that. Wow.
You shouldn't have acknowledged
The
it.
talent, the amount of talent that fills this room, folks. Or it's gas. Most likely gas. Crazy side of cinema. That's what we're talking about. And what better way to launch the month off than a movie from a man who's no stranger to finding the madness in even the most mundane of places. Terry Gilliam. As we look at his film, The Fisher King, a movie about living life to the fullest, no matter who you are or what you have or have not. Or have not have. Ooh. But before we start letting the imagination and fear fly with hallucinogenic dance sequences, demonic nights, madmen with shotguns, and lots of Robin Williams penis, our own Merlin of mashed potatoes, mushrooms, and mystery stew, Brian.
Mystery stew.
Has don't ask where it comes from.
The Four Seasons.
The Four Seasons mechanic. He has conjured up a wonderful appetizer to start us off with. Brian?
I feel the great need deep within me to repay you for the kindnesses shown the very best way I know how.
Oh, here we go.
Well, how's that? With a sausage party.
Well, he must mean literally.
I've spent the majority of my adult life stuffing my meat into casings. It's thrilling work, rewarding and exhausting. Yet I won't rest until my sausage has touched the back of your throats.
Well, I do love sausages.
Me too, like I love it so much.
I'd feel a bit better if we could bring a date.
I'm afraid there's only one rule of a sausage party. No women allowed.
Oh, okay, so he meant literally as well as figuratively.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome, Brian.
Tonight, as Mark mentioned, we will be kicking off the month of In the March of Madness, where all month long we'll be looking at movies that deal with madness and insanity. Tonight's movie is, as Mark mentioned, The Fisher King, where Jeff Bridges plays Jack Lucas, who was once a rich, famous, and egotistical New York City shock jock. Jack goes on a downward spiral, both personally and professionally, after a glib comment he makes to one of his regular callers results in that caller going on a murder spree at a trendy downtown bar. 3 years later, when Jack hits rock bottom and is close to suicide, he is saved by a seemingly crazy and homeless man named Parry, played by Robin Williams. Parry does have mental health issues, namely hallucinations, centered around the story of the Fisher King and an obsession with obtaining the Holy Grail. After Jack learns of Parry's own background and the reason he got where he is, Jack feels the need to be part of Parry's salvation. And because tonight's movie deals a lot with Arthurian legends, the tale of the Fisher King and the quest for the Holy Grail in particular, we thought it would be fun to take a look at some of our favorite films that have adapted the tale in part or in whole of King Arthur.
Nice.
Awesome.
King Arthur is great on the whole.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh, it's got a great hole.
Wow.
Is it me? Am I starting?
Yeah, I went
believe
first
so.
last week.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I'm glad somebody's paying attention. Mine's Army of Darkness.
Woohoo!
I was going to go Monty
Oh,
Python,
good one. I didn't even
but
think about that
I
one.
love this movie, and I went Army of Darkness because I absolutely just love the Arthur legend mixed in with the whole Evil Dead mythology.
There you go.
Of course, if you haven't seen Army of Darkness, what the hell is wrong with you? It came out with the 90s. I don't need to go into it. Just know it's Bruce Campbell. It's the Deadites. It's King Arthur. It's got swordsmen and maidens and knights and shotguns, boomsticks.
Boomsticks.
All things wonderful. And Ted Raimi, of course. And Bridget Fonda in a cameo.
That's
Oh,
right.
that's right.
She is at
Pretty
the end,
boxy
right?
librarian
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
Army of Darkness, the third installment of the Sam Raimi
Evil Dead trilogy.
And it goes into some Monty Python,
Oh, yeah. And
territory.
Three
A lot of slapstick,
Stooges-esque.
Three Stooges.
Slapsticky stuff.
But it's also a lot of fun, man. Check it out if you haven't seen it. What the hell's wrong with you?
And isn't one of the guys?
It's Arthur.
Arthur? Yeah,
Arthur.
yeah.
Punches him right in the face. Yeah. Your shoelace is untied. And he looks down.
He does.
Arthur's pretty
No, he doesn't know his
stupid.
shoelaces.
He should know he has night boots or whatever they wear.
Night boots.
Are they night boots?
That's what
Working
Batman
on
wears.
his night boots.
I mean, he's wearing armor over his
Armor
feet, right?
boots, right? Yeah. Are they boots?
He's
Are
probably
they made
wearing
for
like
walking?
a
You wear
leather
boots?
sock underneath.
Yeah. But
armor
he should,
boots.
But his natural reaction would be like laces.
Yeah, maybe it's a
What are
metal
these
boot.
laces of which you
Because the
speak
glove
of?
is a gauntlet. What's a boot,
Yeah.
right? Maybe it's a
bootlet.
metal boot.
Yeah.
Bootlet. Yeah, that's good.
No, there is a word for it.
A booting.
Yeah. The
It's the
booting, that's a
booting,
Canadian
like
thing.
the Australian episode of The Simpsons, right? Kick Bart in the butt with a metal boot. Didn't that happen?
That's right. Yeah, I think
the
you're right.
booting. Yeah.
Yeah, the booting.
That's from Australia.
The bootening.
The Simpsons, that's where I get all my knowledge of real life. So it's clearly true. This is what they do in Australia.
That's right.
It's true. All right.
Never go there.
Exactly. Tristan lived there for like, I don't know how many years. He can back me up.
Mm-hmm.
They're called sabatons.
Tristan's wife is from Australia.
Sorettes.
Oh, Sabato. Do they talk about that in Undiscovered Country?
They did.
That's right.
Yeah, because that's where we get the word sabotage
Sabotage.
from, because they threw their shoes into the machinery to stop it.
See?
They threw their
Look at all the things you learn from our show.
And who throws a shoe?
We are entertaining as well as education.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
We are messengers of knowledge. Keepers of the
flame of mirth.
The fountain of knowledge. Behold, almighty intellect.
Drinkers of the font of knowledge. We impart them to you, dear listener.
Now go. Go and spread the gospel of the dads. Derek?
Speaking of, how could I not pick one of my top 5 films of all time, Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
Good call. I got that one too.
Trying to stay away from it, but I was like, no, I can't.
You can't not be drawn into it.
It's one of only a few comedic adaptations of the Grail and Arthur Legends. It's endured. Like, I don't remember what year it officially came out.
1975.
Was it 75? So I mean, before I was born, and it hit my generation, and it hits every generation. Everybody's got it's like a rite of passage to watch that movie.
Yeah.
And it holds its sway over me still, and it's hilarity. And I've watched it probably at least.
I can't even tell you how many times I've seen it.
Yeah,
it's a good
That's
one.
my pick.
Yeah.
It's an awesome one.
Awesome pick. I've got that on my list too, but I went with Merlin, the TV miniseries from 1998, starring Sam Neill, Isabella Rossellini, Martin Short, and Helena Bonham Carter.
I forgot Isabella Rossellini.
Oh yeah, she plays his love interest Imue.
Yeah,
and
Merlin smell.
Merlin smell. Imue smells after she gets burned by the dragon.
Dwarf smell.
It was really good. I think this was the miniseries or the media that introduced me to Helena Bonham Carter. I don't think I'd ever seen her in anything before this. Martin Short is wonderful as always as Frick, her sidekick.
Yep.
Very
And Sam Neill, who thought he could play Merlin after just being in Jurassic Park a few years earlier than this, and he pulls it off.
Yeah,
I have to say, that was a lot of
him,
fun.
Right? It's a younger version of
A younger version. It shows how he got his power.
There's an even younger version on the actual. There's a BBC show.
Yes, which was on Sci-Fi Channel too. They showed it. Yeah, I almost had that on my list, but I'm like, I never watched it, so I didn't put it on there.
Martin Short was in that?
On the one that I listed, yeah.
He's like a little elven guy.
It's available, Tito, on Amazon Prime. I was actually found it again today when I was looking.
And the British one, the younger one, was played by the kid from Alf, the son.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Of course not.
Fucking. Oh my God.
Talking about.
God, you had me going just like Marilyn Manson and his missing rib.
Look how long. Look how long I could have played it out for. But we're on a timetable here, so I could have kept going.
Ah, Willie, I'm doing magic. Let me conjure a cat. I'm hungry.
Oh, Alf.
I haven't heard Alf in so long. I'm going to assume those were spot on.
That's a spot on Alf.
I'm going to assume
That's pretty good. They were good.
Been working on my Alf all year.
Actually,
That's not even.
who's next? Oh, Tito, you're next.
It's me. It's me.
TDP. For me, Tito.
Mine is a pretty newish film. It's The Green Knight with Dev Patel.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I almost picked that one,
It
Tito.
came out in 21. It's the story of Gawain and the Green Knight. And the Green Knight comes and asks him to play a game. And Gawain chops his head off. And the Green Knight puts his head back on and says, in 1 year, you're going to come see me and I'm going to chop your head off.
Yeah.
And it's the story of Gawain and his journey back. It's really, really good.
I did finally get to see it. I agree.
Yeah, it's beautifully shot. It looks amazing. I can't tell if the Green Knight is practical or not, but it looks practical. It looks really nice. But just like a really cool, interesting, fun movie.
It was an A24 movie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of just slipped under the radar.
It did.
Yeah.
When everything was just getting sent to stream. But I really like this film. It's a fun movie.
Agreed.
Check it out. I like Dev Patel.
Night. I have not seen it.
I almost picked that one, but I went with one a little goofier.
Yeah. But fun film.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Runners up?
My runner-up is Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And honorable mentions include The Sword and the Stone and Merlin's Shop of Mystical Wonders.
Oh, wow. Good one. Mystery Science Theater.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what is that, you ask?
Yeah.
Let me give you a brief synopsis. Ernest Borgnine plays a grandfather who tells his grandson the story about how Merlin moves to modern times to sell objects in a store that, if the people misuse them, are treated very badly.
Like Mogwais?
Kind of like Mogwais.
Does he sell Mogwais?
I wish. And then there's two stories that go with it.
Okay.
And it is a...
he's telling the stories?
He's telling the stories to his grandma.
I liked it better when it was Princess Bride.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's exactly what they try to do. They don't pull it off as well, though. But it's fun to see Ernest Borgnine.
She doesn't get eaten at
still
this
there.
time. What? No, you seem a little nervous, so I'm explaining.
When did this film
I don't know. It
was the 80s.
80s.
Yeah, I want to say the 80s.
Check it out. If Mystery
MST3
Science Theater fans.
Yeah, it might have been a made-for-TV.
And they just
They're
not too
always
long
talking
ago.
over the movie.
Yeah.
That's the whole point, Tito.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to follow Merlin in his adventures.
Yeah.
You
Tito,
want them
it's
to talk
kind of like
over
we
those
do when we
movies.
watch a movie together.
I know. That's
So if you
different.
are a fan of MST3K, check it out. They also did a Riff Tracks version some years later.
Oh, did they?
Which is cool. They went and
Nice.
revisited it. And the thing about Riff Tracks, obviously, is they show the whole movie. They don't have to take parts out like they have to do in Mystery Science Theater. So if you, for whatever reason, want to see more of Ernest Borgnine,
why do they have to take parts out of Mystery? Is it
because have you ever seen Mystery Science Theater?
not all the way through?
Well, they break for the film to do little segments
skits,
with the robots.
Oh, so for commercial
they have
breaks
to
and
edit
such.
the movie for time.
Ah.
Whereas Riff Tracks doesn't do that. It just
Because they
provides
straight
a
to
whole...
stream kind of situation.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, I could never finish.
I know, because you're lame. And
I mean, yeah, I
you're
suppose.
But you watched the Vanilla Ice
Cool as Ice.
Ice
Yeah.
one with us.
Yeah, because I'm a nice
That was
guy.
fun. That's not it.
Because he had to, because we were doing it for the
That's
show.
true.
I'm a great guy.
Yeah, well, I won't go that far. You're obtainable, I guess, but
I'm a great guy.
no. Acquired.
Cool as ice.
You're an acquired taste. Yeah.
Yes.
You are.
Yeah.
Great taste, less
You
filling.
might say I'm the Mystery Science Theater of this podcast.
Yes. That is pretty accurate.
Nice.
Give me your runners up, Derek.
I got season 2 of Gargoyles when Goliath and a few others get
That's on
transported to
my
Avalon.
list.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's a good. No, that's fine. I like it.
The Merlin miniseries with Sam Neill, Sword in the Stone.
Yeah, that's such a good
Excalibur
movie.
and Camelot, obviously. First Night.
Oh, I was
I
thinking
had
about
that
that.
too.
Gere and Sean
I
Connery.
can't do
Yeah.
it. I did like
Does
the
that
Guinevere.
count?
Who was that actress?
It was I think was she French?
Binoche?
Yes,
Is
Juliette
that-
Juliette
Binoche.
Binoche.
Juliette Binoche.
Yeah.
And then
They banged.
this
Richard
was
Gere, was it Richard Gere?
Yeah.
Richard Gere was like
Richard Gere,
Squinty
Sean
eyes.
Connery,
Couldn't do
Juliette
it. He
Binoche.
just couldn't do
He's got
it.
those squinty eyes that bug me.
Yeah, I
and that
agree.
gerbil up his
Everything
ass.
bugs you.
He's got those beady
Steve
eyes.
Martin's hair.
Yeah, his hair bothers me.
Gere's
Richard
eyes.
Gere's eyes bother me. Janine, don't look at me. You got those beady eyes. Hey, Janine, sorry about the beady eyes.
Bug eyes. Bug eyes.
Bug eyes. Oh,
Bug
yes, the
eyes.
bug eyes.
And I almost went with this as my number one because I loved this as a kid. King Arthur and the Knights of Justice.
You stole one of mine, too.
No.
Son of
Yeah,
a
I love.
bitch. What
You
are
know
you
what?
so
It's on Peacock. I watched like 2
Is it
episodes
really?
before I came here. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, because I was looking up the show and I was like, oh, streaming on Peacock.
I didn't know that.
I watched a couple
I
episodes.
gotta show the kids.
Semi-chub.
I never saw how it ended.
What is
So-
this? I'm not aware of this one.
So for those who don't know, it's a 1992 cartoon, Saturday
Okay.
morning cartoon, where Morgan Le Fay,
Yeah.
she traps Arthur and his knights in the Cave of Glass. And Merlin can't release him, so he searches through time and tries to bring someone back to help. So he finds Arthur King, who's a quarterback for a New York City football team. And so he brings him and some of his teammates back, and they become these Knights of the Round Table.
Okay.
They're like, I thought they were high school kids. They are,
no,
right?
I think it's a pro team. It's weird because they're wearing
Yeah.
varsity jackets,
But they're
it's
young.
It's really hard to say.
Yeah.
It's a mix.
There's 12 of them, even though only 11 people can play at a time on the field. And they play both
one was the
ways, I
kicker.
assume. Yeah, I assume they play both ways.
Was one the mascot? You know,
I thought it was like the team.
One had to be the
team,
Dakota.
is this live action or animated?
No, animated. It's
Oh,
animated.
But they have
okay.
armor, and their armor does shit. Like
Right.
they have a logo on the armor.
Like the Power Rangers, they kind of like.
Arthur
Or
has
like
a
Superman in Superman 2, he rips off his logo and it becomes
Yeah,
a cellophane
kinda.
thing that traps.
like Excalibur is on Arthur's armor, and when he
Yeah.
wants it, he just pulls it off his
Oh, that's
armor.
cool.
And then
Wow.
his shield has a dragon, and
Right.
the dragon comes off the shield.
It was fun. Like as a kid,
Everybody's got something
totally
cool.
badass.
Yeah.
Was this like a Fox 90s kind of thing? Was this a James Bond
I wanna
Jr.
say-
era?
Well, I mean, if it's on Peacock, it must have been on like on
NBC.
NBC.
Oh, maybe.
But-
Yeah. That
was
actually
it part of
makes
that like
sense.
Saturday morning?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like the lineup.
Okay, all
And
right.
it was around like when Fox Kids was starting to pick up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
fun show. I
It
love that
was.
show when I was.
So that was
younger.
mine.
There you go.
Nice.
All right, so like you, I've got Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I can't not pick those boys. Love that movie, seen it countless times. I've got King Arthur from 2004 with Clive Owen, Keira Knightley, Mads Mikkelsen, Ray Winstone, Ray Stevenson, R.I.P., and Joel Edgerton, or Edgerton. I'm not sure how to pronounce his
Edgerton.
name. But that was a
That
fun
was the
movie.
Antoine Fuqua one.
I forgot
Yeah.
that Mads Mikkelsen was in that.
Yeah, same with me. Yeah. But I loved it. I own it on DVD. I just haven't watched it in a long, long time. It is right over there.
Guinevere's like
Buried in
a
that pond.
Amazon.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
right. Yeah.
She's like a
nice with the bow
absolutely.
and arrow or whatever.
Yep. It was a lot of fun. It was kind of like a gritty. This could really happen. Retelling of the Arthur legend, how he
Yeah.
became Arthur.
And it came out around the time of Gladiator, right?
It was 2004, so it was
Yeah,
shortly after.
I saw that in the theaters.
Because it definitely had Gladiator vibes.
Yeah, it did. I've also got
Griffin.
Yeah, he was in it
What
too.
a great
yeah.
fucking name.
Yeah, Jon Griffon.
Young Griffin.
Yeah.
It's got a D in
yeah.
there. Yon is spelled
He was
I-O-A.
one that was
Mr.
Reed Richards
Fantastic.
in the
that guy
in the Fox
pees
ones.
on people and horrible bosses, right?
Oh,
yes, that was him. Yes.
Yeah.
I've also got Walt Disney's Sword in the Stone, lots of fun, animated. Excalibur, Camelot, First Night, and here's the goofy part, Tito. Sword of the Valiant from 1984. It's Sean Connery, Miles O'Keefe, John Rhys Davies, Ronald Lacey, Peter Cushing, and David Rappaport doing the tale of the Green Knight, where Sean Connery plays the Green Knight. Miles O'Keefe plays Sir Gawain, who goes after him, or Percival, or whoever goes. Gawain. And
It's on Tubi.
It is on Tubi. It's also on MGM Plus, I believe, if you have that. And
I'll check that
I
out.
just thought it was funny because I'm looking at the cast again. I hadn't seen this movie since the 80s.
That's a stacked cast.
It's a stacked cast, but it's a shitty film. It's a Golden Globe. It's a Golden Globus feature for Canon Films.
We bring you
So
dragons and
we need more boobies.
Sean Connery boobies.
The armor, no, cut down on the armor. They can't all wear the armor at the same time. We gotta cut the cost.
Sean Connery, stop hitting those boobies. Sean
This movie sounds great.
What's it
Just
called?
based on
It's
the
Sword of the
impressions.
Valiant from 1984.
Nice.
And I just thought it was funny because it's got Sean Connery and it's got Ronald Lacey and John Rhys Davies, who are all in Indiana Jones movies.
Oh, that's true.
It's
Yeah.
got
Camels.
Peter Cushing and it's got David Rappaport, who we love from Time Bandits, and Peter Cushing from the horror,
for sure.
Hammer Horror.
An MGM song.
MGM Plus, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, check it out. It's goofy, bad fun.
Oh, we have to watch it.
Yeah.
Just
We'll
added
have
it.
to-
Maybe
we'll just-
tonight.
We'll just
Just
have to
added
riff it.
So those are mine. And honestly, I thought this was going to be tough. I'm like, how many?
Yeah.
How
I was
many
thinking
are
the
there
same
going to
thing.
be?
Yeah.
You guys
But as
came
I
up with
started
a
looking,
lot
I'm
more
like,
than I've seen.
I'm like, I love that one. I love that one. I
Impressive.
love that one.
Whoops,
I love that
sorry.
one too.
Sorry.
So
Tito?
Same. King Arthur and the Knights of Justice, the Gargoyles when they introduced Avalon and King Arthur. And then I like the first half of this movie a lot, King Arthur, Legend of the Sword.
Yeah.
That's one that just came out a few years
With
ago.
Jude Law.
Yeah, it
and-
was the Guy Ritchie one.
Yep.
When it gets to like the magical aspect of the film, it kind of gets a little but
It
the
loses
first
you.
half I absolutely love because it's basically a straight up gangster movie with King Arthur in it and the Lucy Greybeard and the Rebel graffiti. There's like a 2-minute that fucking whole interaction. It's so fun.
Nice.
But yeah, I put that one on there.
Charlie Hunnam.
That's right. Charlie Hunnam
that handsome devil.
from Pacific Rim.
So handsome.
There's also Quest for Camelot. That's another animated movie.
Quest of the Delta Knights. Another one.
Uh-huh.
David Warner. All right.
Oh yeah.
Quest of the Delta Knights. Does it take place in like the Mississippi Delta?
Maybe.
Or in a Delta airplane.
Another mystery science theater one. There's a lot of those.
Is it like Ghost of Mississippi? But
Ghost of
with
Mississippi.
knights.
With knights.
With knights.
Nice.
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 Good,
Good picks,
awesome
guys.
appetizers. Shall we get to the main course?
We should.
The
Can't keep going.
course.
And when there was no meat, we ate fowl. And there was no fowl, we ate crawdad. And when there was no crawdad to be found, we ate sand.
You ate what?
We ate sand.
You ate sand?
That's right.
God damn, I almost had you this time.
Yeah.
Really,
almost.
The harmonies,
Yeah.
We did
did
beautiful.
harmonize.
That's pitch. That
Yeah, that sounded good, man.
like a young Boys to Men. You know?
You know, Michael Jackson thought that was a delivery service.
Yo, Tito, Tito, check this one out. Let me see how this one moves you.
Motown Phillies back again.
We need a trash can on fire. Start a fire in one of these fucking Canada Dry cans.
That's it.
We'll sing around.
Our own little dumpster.
All right, now all we need is a copy of New Jack City. We're all set. New Jack City. All right, the main course. Very nicely done, gentlemen. Everyone has a story. The people we know, the people we don't, and even the people we don't seem to care too much about. This holds especially true to the homeless. We've seen them from time to time, not giving them much a thought in passing. Sure, we may toss them a buck or two from time to time, and for a brief moment, we feel for them, if only for a moment, before returning to our own lives. And just as they appeared, they soon disappear from our minds, and we have no clue who they are or who they were, how they got to where they are now. We never look to see what's beyond the tattered clothing and makeshift beds. But for Jeff Bridges and the Fisher King, he finds himself in the presence of a wonderful homeless man, alien to him as anything from outer space and loving as any angel from the heavens. A man who has little in possessions but endless imagination and inspiration for his new friend. With a stunning performance by Robin Williams as said homeless man, and brilliant setting in a movie by imaginative Terry Gilliam, The Fisher King is a fantastic, heartwarming, and at times frightening look into one of those stories carried by one of those people that, again, we often pass by without a second thought, never knowing who they really were and what amazing people they could have been. That's what you get. This is what happens when you write During Another Day in Paradise by Phil Collins. You get very into it. Gentlemen, opening thoughts.
That was beautiful, man.
Yeah.
That was my
Thank
opening
you.
thought.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you.
thoughtful.
So
You go first, man.
Yeah.
I go first.
You go first.
I had not seen this movie in a very long time. And revisiting again, it's a fantastic movie. Very good pick. Brian pick, I believe.
Also a Tito pick.
And a Tito pick. That's right. You guys kind of
We try to squeeze him in when we can.
Yeah.
If we can get Terry in there, we'll try to.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely. We're all big fans of Terry Gilliam.
Squeeze him in there.
And I think, well, you said, was it you who said, Derek, you said it kind of flew under the radar a bit, or
Right.
not many people talk about it. And you're right. It's not one that people talk about a lot, or I don't think they do.
Just in general, of Bridges movies, Williams movies, and Gilliam movies.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. The cast is terrific. The story's really good. Robin Williams is fantastic in this movie. I've seen him in so many dramas, but I always forget what a great dramatic actor he is. And this is an awesome performance, a very sad performance. Like, you know, more sad than like Dead Poet Society or what's the one? The one he goes to hell, or he
What Dreams May Come.
With the artwork
To save his wife.
This is definitely it's a powerhouse performance by him. Jeff Bridges is fantastic. Mercedes Rule is awesome. Amanda Plummer. I mean, the four biggies, heavies, if you will, in this are fantastic. I love the movie. Great pick, guys.
Yeah, I agree. Film's terrific. I love Bridges and Williams together. They have awesome chemistry. I love Williams' performance. I'm a huge fan of when he does these types of serious, comedic, but
pseudo-serious, I would call it. Yeah,
because he just has a way to make you feel for him.
Yeah, he knows how to tug on those heartstrings.
Yes, he does.
That's right. I'm not going to go there. No, never mind. And you know, it's a Gilliam film that really doesn't feel like a Gilliam film.
No,
but does at the same time. You know, there are elements that he is known for or whatever, but it's definitely a little toned down from what his other stuff is. And I'm a sucker for anything Arthurian mythology related.
Yeah,
I love King Arthur stuff and mythology in general. But
yeah, so throw that to the mix. You guys have said it all. Cast is absolutely stacked, and I was always a fan of Terry Gilliam ever since Monty Python. I remember seeing this movie. I was working in Providence back in the early 90s. And a guy that I work with named Dan, he had already seen the movie. And he's like, have you seen it yet? I'm like, no. He said, come on, we're going. We're going this weekend. You and I want to see this again. Yeah. He says, I know you're going to love it. I know you love Monty Python. You're going to dig this movie. And he was absolutely right. I was surprised because I know Terry Gilliam and I know how outrageous he can be. But this movie, he was so focused. He was so reined in. And this movie has so many levels to it.
Right.
You know, it's a commentary on homelessness. It's a commentary on mental health.
Illness,
It's a commentary on greed and corporate America. And it's a comedy. It's a drama. And it works on all these levels, and it is so surprising where this movie goes and where it takes you. And it was just such an emotional ride the first time I saw it, and I've seen it countless times since. But I've slacked off. It's not one of these movies that I watch lately on the regular. But back when it first came out, like 10 years after this movie was released, it was a movie that I would watch at least once a year. Yeah. And I've fallen off, but I revisited it 2 nights ago and fell in love all over again. This movie is chef's kiss. It is probably the best that Terry Gilliam has done. I
agree.
I'm going to put that out there. I'm going to die on that hill.
Wow. Yeah, I might have to agree with that also. I haven't seen it in maybe about a year myself. I forget how it ends. And because a lot of his movies kind of can be ambiguous when it comes to happy ending, maybe not so happy ending, I, for some reason, always remember, I kind of forget everything after he ends up back in the hospital.
Yeah.
And their relationship and them ending Jack up in like Central Park and stuff. I didn't remember that part, and I was like expecting that Brazil type ending or whatever.
Shoe gonna drop?
Yeah, and it didn't come, and I was like, oh shit, how did I not remember how happy this movie ends?
Yeah.
Which I love because they reached a point in film where I was just like, give them the realistic ending.
You're right.
Maybe life isn't really happy. It's like, dude, that's not why I go to the movies. Robin Williams is so good. I have issues with Robin Williams. I like him more when he's more serious. I find him funny some of the times. I think he's pushing it like right to the limit where I could be like, too much Robin Williams. Yeah. And then he pulls it back immediately and he does something else.
He's edging you this whole movie.
Yeah, the whole time. So what I like about his performance is I feel like Jack when I'm watching.
Yeah.
Like I'm irritated at certain points with his behavior.
Oh, this guy. Yeah. Stop it.
Mercedes Rule is fucking awesome in this movie.
She really is.
I only remember her as Josh Baskin's mom in Big.
That's right.
That's the only thing I remember.
She's also the mom in Last Action Hero.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. But she's so good. Even Amanda Plummer, who I think is a fine actress, the only standouts for me are like
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction, yeah. And she's kind of funny in So I Married an Ex-Murderer.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction, I think she's fantastic. So, and I think she's actually really likable in this movie.
She is.
At a certain point, because
she'd be kind of a bitch. And even Mercedes Rule calls her out.
Yeah, dude, I love that shit.
Yeah.
But
she's the
quirky,
most normal one though. It's really funny
of the bunch.
Yeah.
Of the I mean, the rest of them are out there. Even Jeff Bridges, like they move a certain way. They talk a certain way. There's something comedic about their performance, but it's not like hilarious funny to me. They move very weirdly.
Yeah.
They're characters. And she is like kind of dialed back in this in terms of quirky or awkward.
That's
or whatever.
the thing. They really all are. Like,
they are.
It's like a tour de force of like actors that you usually see go over the top.
Right.
Like restrained.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's Gilliam's directing or if it's just them as actors just kind of realizing how good the story is.
Gilliam seems like he's very focused.
Right.
I can imagine him being a very harsh taskmaster because he wants what he wants.
Very meticulous
to be on that screen.
I mean, you have 4 actors. They're actors.
Yeah.
This isn't like maybe Robin Williams is the biggest at the time. I don't know that Jeff Bridges really reached that like peak until like Lebowski.
Yeah.
Right? We're like, really well known.
Yeah.
Everybody loves the dude. Everybody fucking loves Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
I don't think it was like that until that movie hit.
Right.
Robin Williams is fairly popular, but these are all like actors acting. I'm not seeing Jeff Bridges. I'm not seeing Robin Williams or Mercedes Rule. You're seeing these characters.
Right.
And
it really is an ensemble.
They're doing a very good job.
And it's a total clinic. It's like an acting clinic.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and it's as big as the idea is. It's just really condensed.
Yeah.
I like where you see Terry Gilliam and some of the more fanciful scenes, like the shots coming from underneath.
Yeah.
These really weird like fish lens things that he does a lot.
Yeah, the askew angles. that he has.
But for the most part, it is shot. Just it's a movie.
Yeah.
It's very good. I love it.
Nice.
Awesome.
Shall we start?
Let's do it.
We shall.
All right. Fisher King, 1991, directed by Monty Python alum Terry Gilliam, starring Robin Williams, Jeff Bridges, Mercedes Rule, Amanda Plummer, Michael Jeter, who's fantastic.
Oh, he is.
And David
he's
Hyde
so
Pierce.
good.
He's so awesome in this.
Lydia.
Yeah, so good.
Nominated for 5 Academy Awards: score, production design, original screenplay, actor, and supporting actor, which Mercedes Rule actually won, amongst tons of other awards. She, if you look at the Wikipedia, there's a ton of green one categories for all the awards, and it's a bunch of them are her.
Yeah.
And Williams did win Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy at the Golden Globes for it, and which he actually shared the nomination with Jeff Bridges.
Oh, nice.
So he beat his co-star. A little bit of trivia: Gilliam had 3 rules in life for filmmaking. All of
I thought
which
you were going to bring this up because I was going to.
all of which he broke making this film. Doing someone else's script, working for a major studio, and never working in America. Those were his rules. And
He's
also
from Minnesota, isn't he?
He is, but he became an expat.
Right.
He moved to Britain, and he
I might
left
just
America
follow
behind.
suit. Jeez.
Drives me crazy.
He had the right idea.
He was a visionary.
The baseball T-shirt that Jeff Bridges wears in this movie, he's actually worn. He went on to wear in 2 other movies, The Big Lebowski and Cold Feet, which I think Cold Feet might have been first. But on the shirt is the guy's name is Kaoru Beto. Or Beto.
Oh, Japanese?
Yes, he played in the NPB, which is the Nippon Professional Baseball League in Japan. He played for 10 seasons and was one of the first great Japanese power hitters. And you can get that shirt online. It's a cult favorite.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, well, I'll have to wear them next week.
Let's do it. Let's pool our money together.
We can share one, like the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. We'll just get one, and it always fits. No matter who's wearing it.
Shirts
right?
now.
All right, we start with a beautiful white Pegasus galloping. Oh wait.
That's the TriStar
That's
logo.
just one of the best film studio logos ever for TriStar. Yep. So many good memories. It just immediately put me in a good mood.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then go right to So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Could be any number of things.
That's right. We really start with radio DJ Jack Lucas. He's taking calls from the citizens of New York. Character was kind of based on Howard Stern. They didn't want they wanted him to give him some tapes.
Yeah,
he wanted to consult.
Yeah, well, he wanted money for the tapes.
Right.
They didn't want to pay for the tapes,
and he wanted
says,
to be
"Well,
like
let me be a
special
consultant then." And they're like, "No," and he said, "Well, forget it then.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be involved."
He's cocky and brash and full of himself. His agent adds to his self-centeredness, discussing a TV show deal with him.
Because every comedian and everybody was getting a sitcom back
exactly.
then.
Yeah. Or like a talk show or anything. Jack returns home to his swanky apartment to his equally posh and lame girlfriend. He gets excited to see himself on the news. However, it turns out his words affected listener Edwin, who killed 7 people before killing himself in a restaurant. The story highlights his loneliness and how he was met with pain when reaching out for a friend in radio land. We flash forward 3 years later. Jack has imploded due to the fallout. He's a drunk who works at his new girlfriend's video rental store. He's no longer successful or cocky. He's just kind of a shell of himself.
Yeah.
And he avoids human contacts for the most part as much as possible.
The video stores, this is like early video stores.
Oh yeah,
before there were
it's
chains.
like a mom and pop video store.
And the tapes are like they're like books. They're like giant Stephen King first editions. They're like those encyclopedias you used to order, the Britannica.
It's a big titty spread cheeky kind of thing.
With what's her name from Hocus
Kathy
Pocus?
Najimy.
Yeah, Kathy Najimy.
Oh, so many. What are you doing? In this movie?
Same. I was like, oh my god.
I had to narrow it down.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So Anne, his girlfriend, she's fun, she's positive, but Jack is volatile.
Yeah.
And he's haunted by the sitcom he was supposed to be the star of because it got made.
Yeah.
and it's starring
Harry Shearer.
which is awesome.
Oh no, wait, that's the wrong actor.
So he goes out for a drunken stroll, and he witnesses a homeless man being yelled at by a wealthy guy. He's leaving a hotel and getting into a limo. He waxes philosophical to a wooden toy doll.
Yeah, that's given to him by the same
son
guy's
of that,
son.
Yep. He brings him over. It's like
Here, Mr. Bum.
Right. You need it more than I do. So
it's a little Pinocchio.
He's waxing philosophical to the toy.
You good kid.
And then he stands
you
on
say
a bridge.
no to drugs.
Don't do crack. He looks like he's about to jump off the bridge, about to end it all.
Yeah, he's going to commit suicide.
And as he's about to jump, two random teen thugs pull up in a Jeep Wrangler for some reason. I don't know why they knew he was there.
They like hassling homeless people.
Yeah, I think homeless people are always there.
So this is something that the 90s did a lot in comics too. I think they did Spawn comic. I think it was Batman Spawn. I think there was at one point people go to set homeless people on fire.
Yeah.
They do it just for kicks,
which is awful.
This is this is a reoccurring thing in comics. I was noticed in the 90s. It was big to fuck with homeless people. The Max, there's a whole thing about it in the Max.
Oh, the Max.
And that's immediately what I thought of. I'm like, hey, I think they read Spawn or something because that's. But
yeah,
but
yeah,
but
yeah,
but
They kind of reminded me of the two bullies from Hocus Pocus. The look of them.
Well, one of them is freaking Dan
Futterman.
From The Birdcage.
Yes, who played Robin Williams' son in The Birdcage.
He's
Ironically
also
enough.
in Judging Amy and Big Girls Don't Get Mad, They Get Even.
Dude, that's on Tubi. I saw that recently.
That's a great movie.
Big Girls? 15 years.
That is
Big Girls
a
Don't
great
Cry, They
movie.
Get Even. I love that
Which one, Tito?
Big Girls Don't Cry, They Get Even.
With Griffin Dunn and
that's right. Griffin Dunn's in that.
Griffin
Big
Dunn's
Girls
in
Don't
that,
Cry, They
and,
Get Even?
Hillary
That's a
Wolf.
movie? I've never heard of it.
Not Hillary. Is it Hillary Wolf? It's one of the kids from Home Alone.
One of the Ben Savage plays one of the little brothers also.
There's a Savage. Yeah, Ben Savage is in there. There's a Savage in there.
Who's the guy from Good Night, Good Luck? That actor. He played Whistler in Sneakers.
Oh, David Statham.
Yes.
Yeah, he plays the dad. It's like a daughter who is she's a daughter of divorce, and then the separate families come together because she runs away.
It's like a fucked up Brady Bunch thing.
Yeah.
And Griffin Dunn is the cool dad, the artist.
Yeah.
And Dan Futterman is like the son, the oldest son. Her brother, who was the black sheep of the family, went off, did his own thing.
Futterman, that's his name.
Yeah, from like Gremlins, Futterman.
Yeah.
But I was watching last night. I'm like, I know this dude from somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's what he's from.
There you go.
The Birdcage.
So these kids do exactly what Mark was saying. They cover him in gas. They're about to set him on fire. And from afar, a bum dressed as a knight comes to his rescue.
It totally is a comic book, man.
It really is. They managed to freak out the teens. I put they because he calls forth his army of homeless knights. They managed to freak out the teens enough to make one escape, while Parry, who's played by Williams, ties up the other one and brings Jack to the homeless camp where he passes out.
Yeah.
Great scene with the bums. Like a couple of different kind of character. I'm assuming.
Hi, John. How's your night? Not bad, Perry. How about you?
Okay, so this is how Spawn, the movie, should have opened.
Oh, yeah.
This is the opening of Spawn without Spawn, saving the homeless guy, or the homeless guys.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Good call, Mark.
I have him every now and then.
In the morning, Parry introduces himself. Jack witnesses Parry talking to an imaginary person in the basement boiler room where he lives. He tells Jack that they told him that Jack is the one. He claims to be a knight on a special quest.
Who's they?
They, the voices, the
little people,
the little fat people,
the little fat people, the little fat flying people,
the little fat blind people,
the cherubs,
the green fairies.
Yeah,
they're the Mac and Me aliens
with their big old bellies.
Yeah, they want Coca-Cola and McDonald's.
He believes that these little imaginary people sent Jack to him to help him on his quest from God. Parry believes that a trophy and a picture from a magazine is the Holy Grail. He tells Jack that there's someone out there stopping him from getting the Grail. Jack, not wanting to listen to anything else, stumbles out. As Jack leaves the basement of the building, he's stopped by the owner, the landlord.
Yeah.
He learns that Parry suffered a tragedy, and hasn't been the same since. He and his wife were at a restaurant when a man, Edwin, came in and blew the place apart, killing Parry's wife.
Right in front of him.
Yep. He realizes, and then Jack realizes that this connection.
This is the guy that he glibly told to, shoot up the yuppies.
Right.
There are
yuppie scum. And
they're the bane of our society.
Right.
They must be stopped at all costs.
Right.
And Edwin took him to heart.
Pushes him over the edge.
Yep. Now, do you think he should have gotten fired for it? This was an issue. Howard, actually, I was reading. This was a thing that
I think
guess
he did get fired for it.
Years later, they asked Howard Stern about this, and Howard Stern was like, they would never fire him.
I always took it as he fell apart, and then the show stopped.
I thought he was fired
because he calls and he's like, "I'm ready to come back," and they're like, "Okay."
Right.
So, but reading in some of the behind the scenes stuff, they do use the word terminated, and so
okay.
I don't know. I figured he was fired. Like, it's kind of vague.
I figured the deal with the TV show was terminated.
Well, yeah, but he doesn't have his radio career anymore.
Right.
So,
but I feel like he walked away from that. Like,
that's the impression I got.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he calls and he's like, "I'm ready to come back," and they give him a show back.
Yeah, that's true. They do.
That's
no
true.
worries.
He does say that. That's true.
Where if he was fired, they wouldn't be so eager to have him back.
Exactly.
I think it all depends on the network you're working for.
I guess so.
That's
But,
true.
but I mean, nowadays,
WNBC would not fire you. Would not fire you. No,
I mean,
Fox News would give you a promotion. CNN would. I don't know what they would do. I don't watch CNN. I can't do political humor.
CBS would replace you.
Well, that's that's a big.
But this is a different time, obviously. Now you would get canceled no matter what. But I mean, like,
it was a little more expected back
then. Yeah, it's like,
I think it's all part of the idea of what is his role in this whole thing, right? His redemption.
Like how far are they cannibalistic?
Is it my fault or is it? I can't control the things that people. I mean, so this is something you see a lot more with like stand-up comedy, probably more than anything.
Right.
I can't control the way people are going to respond to what I say.
Or violence in movies, right? Somebody sees something and imitates it in a movie.
Yeah.
Do they, like Basketball Diaries? Weren't they trying to pull that off the shelves for a while? After
I don't remember that. I love that movie.
Yeah, I remember that
because it had a school shooting scene, and I'm wondering if. I'm just curious what you guys thought. Very quickly, I don't want to get too off topic, but it did have me thinking while watching it. I'm like, would that happen? Would that actually happen?
I think now, yes.
Yeah, definitely now.
Although not for much longer, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, Fox would promote them.
I get
if they got fired from another network, Fox would hire them. So they're not in jeopardy of losing a career.
No. But that's news. Yeah. This is different.
Returning to the video store, he tells Anne what happened. They converse about the Grail and the point of life in general. Men, women, God, devil. She hints a few times at wanting him to say he loves her and get married. He avoids it like a guy.
I love her explanation of like God and the devil.
Right.
It's fucking phenomenal.
Right. Yeah. Like men. What was he
come
saying?
together and work it out. I just fucking love that.
Men were created by God. Women created the devil.
Strike that. Reverse it.
And so that basically they would connect and come
together,
and God and the devil would then come together
and work it out.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
Jack returns to Parry's basement and examines a shrine and a lot of Grail-related art, which is absolutely heartbreaking scene. Like very, very sad.
Yeah.
He gets spooked by the man who he had talked to before, and he tells him more about Parry.
Yeah.
His real name is Henry Sagan, and he was a professor at Hunter
College. A professor of medieval studies.
Right. So, which all kind of starts making sense. And after the murder, he went catatonic. He kind of didn't speak for a year and was in a mental institution in Staten Island. He started talking suddenly, but he was now this persona, this Parry, which is a derivative of Parsifal, who is
or Percival.
Which is one of the knights.
The one who found the Grail.
Right.
Yeah.
The wise one, right?
The fool.
Oh, no, the fool. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Because Parsifal means pure fool.
That's true. Yes, that is. And the old man, he was his former landlord. Him and his wife lived in an apartment in the building, and he felt bad for him, so he let him stay in the basement. Returning home, Jack goes through news clippings.
I told him no guess.
I know. When he leaves that room, he definitely, it's almost like a walk of shame.
Oh, yeah.
He looks like they hooked up.
And poor Jack is like, he's like, is he like hungover? Is he still drunk? I don't know.
Right.
You know, and he's like trying to avoid this guy. He's not making eye contact.
Totally. And the guy, when he said the no guess, I'm like,
told him no guess.
He probably thinks that they shacked up.
Mm-hmm.
Returning home, Jack goes through some news clippings and boxes from when the murder happened. There's he's listening to a tape of his show.
Yeah. Starting to make connections.
Another really heartbreaking scene because Anne comes in. He asks her how in a city like New York he happens upon the man whose wife's death he feels responsible for. And he says this great line, why can't he just pay the fine and go home? And then breaks down. And Anne, it's so good. It's such a good scene.
I know.
There's a lot of those moments in this.
Really?
Too, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Like I said, tour de force.
Yeah. Lots of themes of redemption and salvation.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, this movie works on a lot of levels.
Definitely. Jack seeks Parry out at the homeless camp. He finds him. He doesn't find him there, but he finds him in a plaza while he's watching a clock and praying. He's saying a prayer on top of a car. As the clock strikes 12, a woman walks out of the building, and Parry, enamored, just watches her from afar, forcing Jack to follow him as he follows her.
Imagine that, walking out of a door and a guy walking you back through the door.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And she gets spun around and then comes out the other side.
So mean.
Like, what the fuck?
She's so mousy. She's even more mousy than Joan Wilder was last week.
Yeah.
Callback.
The woman, Lydia, played by Amanda Plummer, is slightly eccentric and strange as well.
Do you know I only just realized that that's Christopher Plummer's daughter?
Yeah.
I only found that out within the last 6 months.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
I feel like there's another celebrity that's in that family too.
Yeah.
But I can't think of
Mario the Plumber?
Luigi.
Joe the
Luigi?
Plumber, remember that guy? Joe the Plumber?
Joe's apartment, right?
Joe Plumber.
So they follow her for a bit, and then she goes back into the building into work. He kind of goes back to his regular self as soon as she's out of sight. Jack gives his normal self, as normal as can be.
Yeah.
Jack gives him some money and parts ways, hoping that the act will make himself feel better.
I love this scene.
I love it. He sees Parry giving another homeless man the cash and gets pissed.
Yeah. Buy! Sell! What are you doing? I gave you that money. That's for you. What do I need it for, Jack?
Parry brings him to this castle-like penthouse belonging to the rich man from the magazine. He brings up the quest again.
Architectural Digest, issue 31, 1975. Look on the shelf, Jack. Look on the shelf. Look behind him.
I think the actual building they use is some type of armory.
It is, yeah. Like the armory in Pawtucket.
Right.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Jack's angry. He argues with him about the quest. He's in disbelief about it. He's kind of indifferent to it. He just wants to feel better and kind of make amends with this guy. He tells Parry that he knows who he is, but Parry
has a breakdown.
He has a breakdown. He freaks out
every time he starts to confront his past.
Exactly. Anytime something's brought up of what he did for a living, or his wife,
and what happens.
Right. He sees he gets a vision of a flaming red knight.
Yeah, on horseback,
and who's also the one from his paintings that he had in his room. The Red Knight is apparently afraid of Jack, so Parry chases after it, and Jack runs after him through the park. Really,
I love how the Red Knight is also representative of the night his wife was killed, which is the Red Knight, the night of the blood, the night that she was murdered right in front of his face.
So when they finally do show that flashback.
It's one of the most horrific things in a non-horror movie I've seen.
Totally graphic.
Holy crap, dude.
Who's the guy that played Edwin? He looks so familiar.
I only know it's Socrates from Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. Remember his
I remember
lawyer?
that show. I don't remember him.
The lawyer, yes.
He was a lawyer, yeah.
You remember Briscoe, right?
I do remember Briscoe, but I don't remember him being in it. I must have seen him in something else.
One of those character actors. One of those faces you see.
Christian Clemenson.
Yeah, in the meantime.
He's in The Big Lebowski.
Is he really?
Hilarious. He plays the younger cop. That's
Damn it.
Oh, when they're interviewing him about the Creedence tapes.
Oh.
Yeah, he's like, I got the Creedence tapes. Apollo 13, he's Dr. Chuck.
He is. That's where I know him from. He's the flight surgeon.
Okay.
He's the one who freaks out when they start ripping off all their electrodes. And Ed Harris is like, relax, Doc. I'm sure it's just a little medical mutiny. That's where I know him from. That's why he looks so familiar. Apollo 13, love that film.
In the park, Jack gets he's all out of breath. He gives up, telling God that he at least gave him the money, hoping for forgiveness and relief of his anguish. In the distance, a woman screams, and Parry perks up, ready to go into battle.
Yeah.
It is not a woman, however.
Yeah.
It's another crazy person.
It's Michael Jeter.
Yep, Michael Jeter. He's a gay homeless cabaret singer who he looks like he's been trampled by a horse.
I know. I thought he was cut in half.
Right.
The way he's like sitting in the mud.
Yeah, you can't see him from the waist down.
Like a stump of a man. Like, I don't remember this part.
I thought he was another hallucination until I realized, Jack can see him too.
Yeah.
No, so
he starts talking about Lindbergh's baby.
I have no legs.
I think he's sitting just in a pile of horse shit.
He is, but from the angle, it looked like he
looked like he had buried his
lower
legs.
half.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's Robin Williams' half brother.
So they bring him in. He's bad. He's hurt. So they bring him to a hospital that looks like it specializes in homeless people and mentally ill people. But he freaks out. He doesn't want to be there. Parry leaves him with Jack, and Jack has this moment of becoming more human. He tries to comfort him as best as he's like surprisingly gentle and kind to the guy.
That's so great. He's like sitting on his lap and having this really great moment.
That's right.
Kind of holding him.
Very good.
And
we could go, could we? No, it's not the weather for that.
He's so good. And it's funny because, it's a testament that at the time, there's still a lot of kind of gay panic and
it was 91.
Right.
I mean, the AIDS panic had just started 6 years before.
It also the people he has lost. Right.
Right. He mentions losing his friends, which is the AIDS crisis. He's a very funny character, but also another very sad character.
Yeah.
The homeless cabaret. Michael Jeter tells Jack about his dreams of Venice and having watched all his friends die, most likely AIDS. Jack and Parry end up going to Grand Central Station to watch for Lydia. Jack talks with Tom Waits, a disabled vet.
Oh, that's a great scene.
That is a
fantastic
good scene too.
With each interaction with these people who are clearly from a different world than Jack, he gains a greater understanding, becomes a little bit more compassionate each time.
And just one of the funniest things in the movie that I think is when he's actually drinking his coffee, but somebody puts the coin in his coffee cup, and he's like,
"Thanks." He pulls it out and sticks it in his pocket.
I like the line. He didn't even look at you.
Yeah,
he pays not to look. He doesn't have to.
He pays not to look.
I love those cups.
That is a great commentary on the homeless right there.
Sure. Really?
It really is.
In a dreamlike sequence there, Parry follows Lydia through a sea of waltzing commuters.
Perfect
very cool scene.
Love that
And the
scene.
funny thing about that is that originally in the script, it was basically just Jack stopped
there's going to be one singer, like a homeless woman singing, and
he kind of just gets caught up in the beauty of it at the moment. But while they were scouting Grand Central Station and kind of figuring out where they were going to put shots,
Gilliam had this idea that it should be.
He saw all these people just kind of just
bustling back and forth,
aimlessly
ignoring each other,
and thought wouldn't it be great if everybody just fell in love and started dancing?
Yeah.
So it made for a great scene.
Yeah, if all these strangers locked eyes for an instant and just held hands and just started waltzing.
Yeah.
And you see some guys waltzing together.
Yeah.
It's like a mix of people. It's like
it really is a couple of Hasidic Jews. You got two women. You got two guys. You got men and women.
Yep.
Women and women.
It's a free
Red Sox and Yankees fans are dancing together.
Dogs and cats living together.
Would this happen in Boston?
No.
Do you imagine
No, you'd slip. You'd be trying to dance and you'd slip on the bird shit.
Yeah.
All the South Station.
All the discarded Dunkin' Donuts cups.
Back at their apartment, Anne, frustrated with Jack not showing up, has her own imaginary conversation, which is it's a very cool kind of, what do they call that? Like a side by, like a comparison kind of thing. You've got all these homeless people that are talking to themselves.
Yeah.
And then, you've got a perfectly sane person talking to herself because she's just frustrated with Jack.
Yeah.
She's chewing an absent Jack out for skipping their dinner that she made.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, in a field in the night, Parry strips naked, wanting to cloud break.
Yeah.
Which is, you know,
cloud bursting.
Basically, cloud bursting.
Yeah.
Sorry, I said cloud break.
Yeah.
Which is a very cool concept. And I think that...
revisited it.
in The Men Who Stare at Goats, right?
Yes, they did.
Which is a great movie.
Yes.
Yeah. Which also has bridges, right?
It has
Yes.
bridges.
It does have bridges in it.
And they do stare at goats.
Yep.
Yeah. George Clooney's in that too, right?
Yep, George Clooney,
Yeah.
Kevin
And Ewan
Spacey,
McGregor?
Ewan McGregor, Stephen Lang, another stack
Is
cast.
that a Coen Brothers movie?
No, I don't think so.
I forget who did that one, but it's very good.
Jack refuses to join in, and he starts walking off. He goes back to him feeling bad, and Parry tells Jack the Arthurian legend of the namesake
Fisher
of this
King,
movie,
yeah.
the Fisher King. He's a fool who gives a pained king a drink upon finding him. The fool gives him a drink from the Grail.
Yeah, that the Fisher King had been searching for
He had been
all
searching.
his life.
He says the great line of he wants to, how did you
find what I had been searching for all this time?
And he just says, I don't know.
I don't know.
I just knew you were thirsty.
I just knew you were thirsty.
Like, very sweet. He recalls that he heard the story possibly at a lecture from a professor.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great delivery.
As he recalls that subconscious memory, the Red Knight returns.
Right, because every time he confronts his past in even the slightest way,
right.
So it's the Red Knight. Which
it's a momentary break.
the Red Knight,
and it's so like such a cool design. Like,
it's great.
It's like the Red Wedding, the Red Knight.
It's like it's like Ghost Rider and
in the sky,
Mephistopheles, and just all these different incarnations. Of
what does Mephistopheles mean?
Mephistopheles.
Mr. Mephistopheles.
Mr. Mephistopheles. Manifesto. No. Mephisto. Not Manifesto. Manifesto is
Monte Cristo.
It's gonna be
Monte Cristo
I bet
sandwich?
Mephisto is behind it all.
Mephisto's behind it all. It was Mephisto all along. They still haven't bowed to that one yet.
Not yet. Not
I'm
yet.
surprised.
Jack snaps him out of the momentary break, and by talking about Lydia, he kind of feeds into his nightly delusion. At the apartment,
no pun intended.
No. At the apartment, the place where you live.
Yeah.
The Departed.
Jack's trying to track down Lydia. Anne overhears. This is a funny scene. She overhears him on the phone asking for Lydia.
Yeah.
And thinks he's cheating.
Yeah.
Starts cussing
calling
him out.
another woman from my apartment.
It's so great. Jack tells Anne about Lydia and Parry and how he's trying to help him. Anne calls the number back, helping him. She immediately forgives him and thinks it's sweet. They get in touch with Lydia and pretend to be a sweepstakes person, giving her a free membership to the store.
Yeah.
She hangs up. She hangs up, and they move to they try something else to get her attention. They send the homeless cabaret guy, Michael Jeter, to her work, and he arrives with balloons to sing to her. Breaks into a Broadway song with
It's a singogram.
Yeah,
Very fantastic. So good.
Lydia. Who's and I love
You're
that,
a winner, Lydia.
So I'm watching this by myself. Sarah's in the other room. She comes in after the kids are in bed and everything. She comes into that part. She's like, "What are you watching?" I start. I'm like, "There's too much to explain."
Yeah.
She just go
enjoy.
watch Cold Case.
I would not have expected that voice to come out of that guy.
It's amazing,
It's
isn't it?
Great voice.
Very good.
Very strong.
It's very Ethel
it's
Merman.
amazing.
And the whole office is just captivated. Everybody in the office turns and stares, and in not in a mean way, not in a what is this guy?
Yeah.
And then she's meanwhile in her little cubicle, kind of curling up in a ball, which I could totally understand.
Yeah.
I relate to that.
Totally embarrassed.
We'd all do the same thing.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing for Derek though. For his next birthday.
So Lydia comes to the store. And Parry's there. He's dressed as an employee. Jack and Anne urge him to help her kind of look around. And there's a really cute interaction between them. He spills a whole shelf of movies right off the bat.
Except for one, and he's like, "Oh, excellent choice." And she's like, "I don't like it."
They arrange a double date. They decide. Beforehand, Parry messes with Anne and Jack.
Before that, when they're still in the video store, I love how he puts the audio, the Christmas tree The car
freshener.
Car freshener. Because Anne was like, "Oh, he stinks."
Well, and it's funny because
the auto air freshener.
Before the date, they're all they meet at the apartment, and Parry's messing with Anne. He's on the table like about to whip it out.
That's a fun ass scene too, man.
Very funny. It's like totally messes with her. She's so great in all these scenes too.
But he knows. He's so thoughtful. He's like everything that's kind of annoying about Lydia. He doesn't see it. It doesn't matter to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he immediately recognizes when meeting Anne how special she is and how underappreciated she is.
Right.
So then he starts fucking with her, but like in an honest way. Like he's like, dude, I'm not going to say that your guy isn't treating you the way he should be, but you're not being treated the way you should be, man. You're special and you should know
And I think
that.
that's why she takes it the way that she takes it, because she's like, she doesn't flip out when he starts getting like a little bit raunchy, because I think she probably really appreciated it.
For sure.
Lydia arrives and Anne does her nails while Jack works on cleaning up Parry. It's really cool. Anne and Lydia kind of hit it off. Originally, they went, there was a little bit of abrasiveness. Anne was very short with her. She didn't really know how to take her, and they kind of bond during the nail.
Great. That's another great scene too. You're kind of a bitch.
Kind of a bitch.
And then
the date starts off sweet, and it's about as awkward as you'd expect. The two seem made for each other, and Anne agrees with me because I wrote that, and then a second later she says, "Oh, they're made for each other."
These two seem to be made for each other. They're chasing the dumpling around the table.
It's so funny. While they connected, Lydia is apprehensive about anything with Parry, but he confesses to Lydia that he's not some random person who had a great date. He tells her that he loves her and that he's watched her.
Could be a little stalkerish.
It could go a totally different way than it goes.
In
and
most movies, I think it does.
Right.
Yeah.
She sees it a different way, which I love.
Right. Rather than be freaked out, she's kind of swept off her feet. She's kind of in awe that someone would feel that way about her. And so as she goes back into her apartment, Parry's once again haunted by the night. Subconsciously, Parry is punishing him. Parry is punishing himself subconsciously for wanting happiness despite the tragedy. That took his wife. He realized the murder. Oh, well, he relives the murder. That's right.
That's
this is when the flashback.
That's the flashback.
It's wild.
And he's again chased through New York as it all kind of happens. It's just horrible. Like the guy comes in, she's facing him. He shoots. It looked like she was the first person he shot.
But how it's cut with Robin Williams' performance is a very awesome moment. It's a horrific thing to happen.
Like the performance of him in the restaurant. And then
him going nuts, running,
having the breakdown.
My God, it is, and the way it's cut from scene to scene, and how it's top notch.
Really good.
Yeah, for sure.
In a heartbreaking turn of events, he finds another heartbreaking turn of events. I should say
there's a couple of them.
He finds himself in the spot where he met Jack and is assaulted by more teen thugs.
Yeah,
I think it's the same
one.
Right?
Same one.
I thought so at first, but you would think that they would have learned their fucking lesson.
Nah, they're punks.
They're punks. If they knew how to learn, they'd stay in school.
That's true.
They wouldn't be driving
good government jobs, right?
Government,
good government
work
jobs.
for the city.
They'd be prepared like Boy Scouts.
And what adds to the heartbreak, they fuck him up.
Oh, totally.
And they cut him open, and he says, is crying, and he thanks them.
Thank you
for freeing
thank you for ending this.
Back at home, Jack's feeling like a new man. He wants to slow all of a sudden he wants to slow the relationship down with Anne. Kind of he starts slipping back into his old self, his selfish kind of.
Which is what Robin Williams essentially does after finding love with Amanda Plummer. He starts slipping back into his delusion, and in a different but kind of same way.
It's more like punishment.
Jeff Bridges does the same thing. As soon he doesn't want to be, he can't be happy. Once he gets a chance at
he's got something that's
what
real.
He wanted again. He's like, oh no, I gotta go. I gotta go back to that comfort place of being an asshole, because I'm not allowed to be happy. I'm not allowed to be worthy of anything, as he says later in the movie. And I thought that
I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Comparison was very interesting.
Yeah. I get also the impression that he feels like he fixed it all.
Right.
Like all those people who died, I fixed it because I hooked Parry up with this guy.
Yeah.
And
I gave him a little bit of happiness.
I'm ready to come back to work now. I feel
I'm
better
getting his
about
life back on track.
Yeah.
As they pretty much break up due to Jack's selfishness, they get a call. Parry's in the hospital. On top of the physical injuries, he's also re-entered the catatonic state that he was after the tragedy. The doctor explains it all to Jack and Anne. He says he'll have to send him back to the mental institute. Anne feels bad for Lydia losing her prince, and she leaves him. Jack, having now returned back to the radio station in his smugness, he's walking in. It almost looked like it was a fly. At first, I thought it was like a flashback.
Yeah,
because
like nothing had changed.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like even the same radio engineers are behind the other side of the window.
Exactly.
Or it was all a dream.
Nightmare.
That would have sucked.
He's walking.
JR never got shot.
He's walking into this building with with David Hyde Pierce, his agent. The homeless cabaret guy, Michael Jeter, he sees him, but
this hurt.
Is so sad.
That hurt too.
Because he just ignores him. He pretends he doesn't know him, and the security guard kind of wrestles him away.
He asked him, right? David I. Pierce says, I think, friend of yours? Or you know this guy?
He did.
Right.
Yeah, don't you remember? No, he just kind of...
And it's just kind of a complete reversal of all the growth throughout the movie. Inside the building, Q pitches Jack an idea.
I know.
About
John Delancey.
Another one.
Yeah.
Yep. About he's pitching this idea for a new show, 3 funny and wise homeless men. What's the name of it?
Oh, shit, I forget.
No Home or...
Home Free.
Home Free.
Home Free.
Yep.
That's right.
It's even called Home Free.
And as he's talking about it, Jack has this epiphany. He kind of breaks out of the spell, and he rushes out of the building. He's looking for Michael Jeter, but he's gone. So he returns to the basement where Parry was staying, and he replays the conversation. Like in his mind, he's replaying all the conversations about the Grail. And then he goes to see Parry, and he's just sitting there and
eyes wide open, not
just
blinking.
Not there. He goes to see him, and he's bragging about his life, and he tells him he's not going to feel bad anymore. He's all upset. He tells him that he's not going to help him get the cup, and he talks to him as if Parry's still talking to him. So now Jack is doing what everybody's been doing, talking, like making his own little conversations, which I love that. That whole kind of thing throughout is really cool.
Yeah.
And so he's kind of arguing with him, and he turns around and he says, but if I did, like he verbally kind of works his feelings out, saying that if he does it for him, it's because he wants to, not because imaginary fairies say he's the one. And when he's saying this, it's such a great performance by Bridges.
Awesome.
Like the way he's kind of just
totally.
Yeah, like he's almost having his own little breakdown.
When he almost walks away.
And kind of trying to convince himself.
Yeah. When he almost walks away, and there's that dude in the foreground with the bleeding head.
Oh, yeah.
Staring off into space.
Yeah.
And there's another guy, he's got the walker, and Jeff Bridges rests his hands on it. That's powerful.
Yeah.
This is good stuff in this, too.
It's wonderfully shot.
Really.
That was a great scene.
He leaves and he goes to the castle penthouse from it kind of looks like the castle in Gargoyles.
All dressed up like Parry was when Parry rescued him.
He's climbing up. He's he's dressed exactly how in the outfit that he rescued Jack in.
Yeah.
On the stained glass that he climbs past, he sees it's the Red Knight.
Yep.
He breaks in. He sees the cup, the trophy. Inscribed to Little Lanny Carmichael for a 1932 Christmas pageant.
Sure, why not?
And as he grabs it, and as he turns to leave, he sees the old man himself in a chair by the fire.
Yep.
He's next to an empty bottle of pills, so the man had overdosed and
he tried to ended suicide.
Yep. He does, right?
Well,
because at first
they save him.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Right.
That's
headline is in the paper.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's why Jack trips the alarm on his way out, so the cops will come and find the guy.
Right. He takes the cup and he tries to make his escape, but security's tight in the rich man's home. He sets off the alarm, opening the door, and takes off, returning to the institution. He delivers the cup to Parry, and in the middle of the night, Parry wakes up holding the cup on his chest. He tells Jack, who's pretending to be asleep, he's actually awake, but he tells Jack he had a dream about being married to a beautiful woman who he really misses. Fucking.
Can I miss her?
Like,
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Oh my God.
Like, is it
he's
okay
not
to miss her now?
responding to anything.
God damn
He
it.
still says thank you. Yeah, he still says thank you. He's not responding to anything.
In the morning, Lydia arrives to see him, but finds him awake, and he's leading the entire ward singing a show tune.
Yep. I like New York in June. How about you? That's great. I like Gershwin too.
And when he sees her, Come on, take it, Tito. No. Oh.
How about you?
I lost it.
That was my Tito.
I had a dream. It's all about you,
Meg Griffin. Not much you can. No.
So he sees her. He stops immediately. Acts like nothing happened. He goes over to her as if he hadn't just been in a coma and she wasn't heartbroken.
That's another one of the things I love about this movie, because it could very easily. He goes into a coma and then just Lydia's out of the picture.
Right.
Yeah.
But she's not. She's still invested in his life. And where are the sheets that I bought him? And he better have them next time I'm here.
Right.
Yeah.
Like off of one date and that one experience.
I know.
It mattered just
Yeah,
as
she
much
fell
to
hard.
her. It's really amazing.
That's love, man. That's love.
That's just love.
And I love. He asked her. He says, "Are you my girl?" And that's adorable. She says yes. They embrace, and all is right with the world as Jack takes over conducting the chorus. Back at the video store, Jack goes to see Anne. He looking very cool. He's all cleaned up, but not like rich guy cleaned up. He's kind of like swaggy.
Yeah.
Common man.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
He looks remorseful. Despite initial anger towards him, she falls back in love with him without him saying anything. He just stands there.
It's the ponytail.
I'm as mad as she is in that scene, and she's like, "You're gonna come here and make me do all the fucking work."
Right.
I'm like, "Dude, you're not fucking say something."
She's like, "Don't do this.
Yeah.
Don't you do this."
Yeah. You're gonna make me do all the fucking work here, you jerk.
Eventually, he tells her. All he says is he loves her, which is what she'd been waiting for.
Yeah, all this time.
And the ending's happy. And then, as an epilogue, Jack and Parry lay naked together in the Central Park, cloud bursting. They sing the show tune that ran throughout the movie. And fade to black. And
so good.
And the city gets animated.
That's right. All the
windows light up and all these colors and
like Tito said, like happy ending, like not expected.
No,
absolutely.
not from a
Tito's
Terry
crying
Gilliam
right
film.
now. Look at him. He's trying to hold back tears.
Stop. It's itchy.
What about your eye?
Stop picking at it, Tito. It'll never heal.
Stop rubbing it, Tito.
So, favorite scenes? I mean, there's a ton, right?
Oh, God. Well, the two that stick out are the dance scene in the subway. Right off the bat, I love that scene. And I had just talked about it as horrific as it was. It's beautifully shot. Very well crafted. The shooting at the restaurant. And it was more gory than I even thought it would be.
Yeah.
It's a very gory, dark
Her
scene.
head explodes in his face.
Yeah.
It's
It
wild.
is like that's something out of freaking Eli Roth. But the way it's cut into that awesome Robin Williams going mad performance, it was a very moving scene, and it stands out. So those are probably the two. And the back and forth between Mercedes Rule and Amanda Plummer,
when she's doing her nails,
as well. And
it's fun too.
Yeah, those are the three.
Talking about their father and
I just this movie is 2 hours and how many minutes long?
I thought I was gonna say it's too long.
It's not.
No.
Because I think everything's too long.
It does not feel
It's
too long
perfect.
to me.
It's so perfect.
Because these four
This movie is
actors
2 hours
are
and 17
awesome.
minutes.
Yeah, doesn't feel it.
There are
They
no dead
are
spots.
so fun to watch. You never get bored watching.
And it's just scene after scene of
Absolutely.
like awesomeness.
Yeah.
What about yours?
There's definitely no scenes worth skipping.
Right. There's obviously there's a lot of those deep scenes. So I kind of just went with like the funny ones that kind of it took me out of the despair that I was feeling from this movie. I love the initial scene with Parry saving Jack and the way he calls forth his knights and they all pop up.
That is an awesome scene.
It's great.
Too. Yeah.
And then I also love the scene where Jack's breaking into the castle because he's wearing all of Perry's clothes.
Yeah.
He uses a grappling hook.
He's really good.
Right.
He's got the slingshot bow and arrow situation. That
he's got his arrow and everything.
I'm telling you, man,
So-
it's this close to being a superhero film, a comic book movie. There's so many elements.
Well, he literally, it's like he's walking that when he uses the rope to walk off the side of the wall. He's doing like Batman and Robin
from the 60s.
You know, Robin Williams has a hero's origin in a sense, or a Punisher's origin.
Yeah.
He could have gone, he could have put on a suit and fought crime, and he almost kind of does.
Right.
Except he just did. This is how I think Bruce Wayne would really react. This is how a person who would see their parents gunned down I think they would put on an outfit and pretend they're fighting crime, and half of the shit is in his head, which I think they actually did in a Batman story, but that's something else.
Brian?
I got to go with the Grand Central Station scene, too, with the waltzing. That's pure fantasy. I love it. Pure romance.
Pure Gilliam, too.
It's
right out of pure Terry Gilliam.
Oh,
too.
yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's very surreal.
Seemingly ordinary moment.
Yeah.
That just becomes this awesome.
Yeah, and then in the background you see, is that guy dancing? And then this guy's dancing, and then that one, and all these people are dancing.
I love when that happens in his movies. It's like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas when Johnny Depp is at the casino, and slowly everybody's morphing into dinosaurs.
Oh yeah,
and you don't
notice it. You don't notice it right away at first, but the people start acting weird.
Right.
They start moving like a raptor or something, and then slowly they start morphing into him. And it's an everyday normal event that just slowly becomes something otherworldly.
Yeah. No, Terry's definitely got away with doing that. He can pull it off in almost every film. Another scene that I love is the scene where Parry and Jack go on the double date with Lydia and Anne at the Chinese restaurant.
So good.
Just the two of them together at the table, and Jack and Anne's reaction to it all happening in front of them. It's like Lydia's being awkward, so Parry doesn't want her to feel weird for being awkward, so he starts mimicking her and being awkward too, and kind of copying exactly what she's
she has
doing.
Zero table manners.
Yeah.
Like you can tell. Just like,
with the spaghetti.
How can anybody like this person?
Earlier,
you can tell.
Like chasing the dumpling around the table like they're having a hockey game. With the chopsticks.
Chinese food scenes in movies are odd.
Yeah.
They're either comical or scary. I don't know if you've noticed this, but
there's no middle ground.
In the movie Manhattan, is it Manhattan? No, in Play It Again, Sam, Woody Allen's trying to impress a girl at a Chinese restaurant, and he does all this weird stuff with trying to shovel rice into his mouth, and it's an awkward, clumsy, comedic date. In Stephen King's It, the Pennywise attacks, and there's fortune cookies with eyeballs and dead birds in it. And I thought of another one too. What the hell was it? I was just thinking of
Christmas Story.
The Lost Boys. Lost Boys with the maggots and the rice and the worms.
Yeah,
There's something
a Christmas
about
Story
Chinese
with the
and a Christmas Story.
It's smiling at me.
I love that.
Slightly racist.
And one other scene that I love is when right after Parry rescues Jack and brings him back to his place in the basement.
No.
In the building. And Robin Williams is doing his Robin Williams thing, but he's not going total Robin Williams.
Right.
I think that Terry Gilliam has reined him in a bit, but he's still putting out these little gems where he's offering Jack food and he goes, "Oh, wait, are those raisins or rat turds?" It's kind of hard to tell. I've always loved that line. And then he's talking to the little people and he's like, no. He's like, no, not in front of him. And he's just doing all this little stuff while trying to make Jack feel comfortable, but he's like so unhinged. It's just a great scene.
I mean, that's when he's at his best. When you can tell when he's not allowed to stop to do the shtick.
No, absolutely.
Like Dead Poet Society is another one. He has a couple of moments of Robin Williams in there, but that's a straight awesome
that's a straight
performance.
Drama. Yeah, too, though.
As opposed to Mrs. Doubtfire, as fun as that movie is, the movie stops so he can perform.
Oh, yeah. But no, those three scenes are great. I mean, there are, I could pick, any scene, and it'll be my, my favorite, depending.
Yeah.
Like, if you say, we were talking about, out of context. Like, hey, remember that scene? And I'll be, oh, my God, that's the best scene in that movie. And this movie is just filled with little gems like that. It's really good. This movie, chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss. No fat.
Chef's kiss.
Just like last week.
Wow.
2 in a row.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good film.
Terry Gilliam, master.
Enjoy this now. I'm up last.
I really enjoy Tom Waits' monologue. I like he makes the statements about essentially people see me and then they think their lives aren't as bad as they thought they were. And they change their minds.
Yeah.
Which comes full circle because the guy's held up in his house. He doesn't get to see the homeless people being homeless.
No,
so he tries to kill himself.
Yeah.
Honestly, the double date into Parry walking her home where he's like, this is our first date. We've already gotten together, had sex, and broken up.
He stops and he starts picking shit out of the trash. And she, what are you doing? We can find some wonderful things in the trash. Yeah. And he made like that little chair, you know, it's like out of the wire in the bottle cap.
Yep.
Oh,
I like that at the restaurant, like by the end of the night, they're like, obviously they want to shut the place down.
Oh, yeah.
And there's like one guy sitting like backwards on a chair, just kind of watching them.
Yeah.
And you get another, there's like a few people in the restaurant.
Yeah, they're cleaning up.
They want to close, but they're also captivated by these people.
Well, they got that light blue background behind them. Like
That's true,
all the rest of the booths are just normal restaurant booths.
Yeah, except they're in the Hollywood booth.
They got this little Vegas show going on behind.
Yeah, it's perfect because it's set up in such a way that would be filmed.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed just before he breaks that moment that they're sharing where he's trying to convince her that they should maybe try again. And he absolutely does not like coffee. I love it. He's just like, I don't want coffee. I don't like coffee.
I don't drink
I don't
coffee.
like coffee. I love that scene. I think it's perfect. Right up until when he breaks, where it's just like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are mine. And the ones you guys said were on here too.
Mm-hmm.
Anything wrong with this movie, Mark?
Well, it's not wrong. This isn't a wrong thing, but this would be a hard, in terms of Terry Gilliam movies, this would be a hard one for me to watch again. And again and again. I would see it again, but it wouldn't make a rotation kind of thing for me. It's not one I can it's not one I can
deep.
visit.
It would be
it's
like
pretty deep. It gets pretty deep, and again, that's not wrong. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
I'm not downing this movie.
So you're saying it's got watchability?
Oh, total watchability. If somebody said, let's watch The Fisher King, I would watch it. But this would never be one I'd put on my own.
Right. So you're saying that as far as rotations go, this is like your Halley's Comet. It comes by every 75 years.
Probably. Probably, yeah. Like I said, I had not seen it in so long before. So, it probably in 75 years, I'll watch it again.
No, I get it.
But it's just so
it's a
powerful.
long rotation.
It's a draining movie. There's a lot of I don't think it's a comedy at all.
No, it's an emotional roller coaster.
This is a drama with elements of fantasy in it, but this is not a comedy.
Yeah.
And I saw in the synopsis this comedic tale. I'm like, no, no,
it's a dark.
I'm
comedy.
sorry. This is a dramedy. This movie. This is
a dramedy.
Yeah, it's a dramedy.
It does not have me laughing. No. It had me chuckling at a couple of spots.
Yeah.
I chuckled. The Tom Waits coin thing for sure, but for a lot of it,
further.
Yeah, but for a lot of it, I'm like, oh God, I need to go hug my family or something, you know. And those are just ones I don't like to revisit.
Thank God we have a house.
But they're good once in a while.
But they're awesome. They're good once in a while. And that, again, I can't really find anything that I thought was bad. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. There's 4 people mainly in this film.
Yeah.
5 if you count Jeter there, and they're awesome.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with them.
Nope.
There's too much smoking. Everybody's smoking.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
That's picking.
Well, it was the 90s.
I know. So it's nothing that can be helped.
It's too much.
And I didn't like that very short period of time. It looked like he was backtracking. Like, you have the whole movie where you've got scene after scene of him
redeeming himself.
Yeah, and kind of confronting his own ideas about these types of people, and it's so deep and so great. And then he just kind of does a flip just because all of a sudden. And granted, the flip doesn't last
cured.
long.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't last.
He's
and
cured.
It's,
I mean, thankfully,
you need to have it because then it makes the ending more powerful.
I just wish that he had he didn't become so much like the original. Maybe and I guess he doesn't, because once he's in that meeting, he does start thinking as the guy's pitching an idea about a comedy about homeless people.
Yeah. Well, that's because that's cute.
Which
he's like, oh shoot, time and space are meaningless. Bah! And then he runs out.
What did I do?
But that's.
So then he encounters the Borg. It was all weird.
Perry gets assimilated. What about you, Brian?
No, man, I couldn't find any fault with this movie, man. I love it from beginning to no fat on this movie.
None.
I would not trim one scene from this movie. You can't.
I wouldn't either.
You can't. No, it all works.
What would you trim?
Exactly.
You can't do it.
No, it all works. It all works, and it's. I think it's perfect from beginning to end, and I'm going to die on that hill too.
It's almost like you picked it, or you helped pick it.
Well, I
sort
of picked it,
and it's a very good pick.
Tito and I, we think alike.
Yeah,
we have good taste.
This is a fantastic movie. I had to kind of reach for this one. I guess like 2025 me. I actually don't think this movie gets made today.
Yeah,
based on how
a lot of it doesn't.
Their approach with like people in a mental facility,
Right.
and a guy sitting in a chair with a bloody head.
Yeah.
Even when I was watching, I was like, "Oh fuck yeah, this
Somebody
is what
do something.
This is what it used to
I
be
know.
like."
Yeah.
And I actually don't think the people that work there are bad people.
No,
This is just the system that was created for them.
they're just overwhelmed.
Yeah, for sure. So that was the only thing as I was like, what is wrong? Other than that, honestly, I think this movie front to back is just like there's nothing. Nothing.
Yeah.
Really nothing. And this is like an after the fact thing where I'm kind of forcing something. I really just think this movie is quite good.
It is quite good.
Quite good.
Smashing.
Spot on.
Just spot on, Baba.
It's most good.
It's most. That would be most good.
It's most good for sure.
I'm sorry. Can we at least get her topless? Sure. Oh, all right. Hey, now we got a movie.
Mark, who's your MVP?
Oh boy. Well, I can't pick between the four of them. I know that's a cop out because all four of them are equally great to me. Maybe the three. Well, see, Amanda Plummer's really good in it too. The MVP is. It's going to Terry Gilliam. This is not my favorite Terry Gilliam film, but this is his best movie. I think this is the best movie he's made. Yeah. I think this shows his talents as he could be more than just an ex Monty Python or ex balls to wall fantasy kind of director. He can do drama. He can do powerful performances that don't rely on gimmicks or special effects all the time. Yeah. So I'll give it to Terry Gilliam.
Do you think that his style just some of that stuff gets lost? Because I feel like the message is always there in his movies. Maybe you're just not. It's not always like.
Well, no, you can see the message in all his films.
Yeah, I think a lot of his stuff
in the fantasy.
All right, well,
of
let me say it like this: when you usually talk about a Terry Gilliam movie, odds are you're remembering the fantasy stuff of it.
sure.
You're remembering the surreal stuff.
Yeah.
I think of Fisher King. I don't think of the surreal. I occasionally think of The Night, but The Night doesn't. The first thing that comes to my mind are the actors.
Right.
Yeah.
And that does not have. When I think of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, I think of the dinosaurs. I think of the bats.
Right.
I don't, or when I think of Baron Munchausen, I think of all the fantasy of that.
Yeah.
And Time Bandits.
I'm not saying you
Bandits,
specifically.
the whole
I guess I would think audiences in general.
Audiences in general. I don't know.
I think that some of his stuff is just so fantastical that it might distract a little bit actually from the message. Because people are so caught up in like, oh wow, what the hell are these dinosaurs doing here? And they're not getting like the kind of undertone that
he's tripping.
Like other people who are kind of more deep might be able to kind of pull that stuff out, but it's not everybody can. And which I think is why he's kind of an acquired taste.
I think if any film comes close to this one, it's Brazil.
Yeah.
I will say that. I kind of forgot about Brazil.
It reminds me most of Brazil.
Yeah, I think
movie.
I think this movie is neck and neck with Brazil as probably his best made film.
Yeah.
All right.
I too went with Gilliam because he just like we've said he played it really restrained. He's usually very trippy and phantasmic. And there's parts that do border on the surreal, the night, the waltz, but he really did this time. He made a movie that is a really great film and that can reach a broader audience.
Yeah, exactly. He can be more grounded.
Right. Yeah. And like I said before, I mean, just earlier we talked about just the way that he handled these actors. You got a lot of people that kind of have very strong personalities and kind of big over the top, that they're known for. And they all give such great performances. It's insane. And, I mean, I was so surprised when I was looking at the awards and realizing that they got nominated for a ton of shit. But out of all of it, Mercedes Ruehl was the one that won most, and it really shouldn't have been. I mean, Terry Gilliam totally should have won Best Director.
Yeah.
This movie, I don't know what it was up against that year, but these movies that have any kind of fun very rarely get picked.
Yeah.
And Oscar rant for this year aside, because I haven't seen all the films, but in the past, these kind of movies often get overlooked.
Right.
They 9 times out of 10, they're going to go with the safe picture.
Yeah.
This isn't a safe movie. This movie has a lot of different emotions. It just shifts from thing to thing, and it doesn't always go from A to B to C, and those kind of movies never do well. Even if people like them, they never seem to get the best picture.
Right.
You know? I'll never understand how The Departed got the Oscar, but not Goodfellas. That's my go-to for everything. That's just always been my go-to. How does Martin Scorsese win for The Departed and not for Goodfellas? That's how you know it's a scam.
I'll make up.
Rant over.
Brian, who's your MVP?
Yeah, I'm seconding, thirding you guys. I'm going with Terry Gilliam because, I mean, this, like you guys said, is a Terry Gilliam movie without feeling like a Terry Gilliam movie. It stands alone. And like you said, Derek, he broke all his own rules to make this movie. And thank God he did, because, I mean, it works. It's such a balancing act. He's reining in Robin Williams, you know, and that's not an easy feat to do. And to also balance like this whimsical kind of love story while also dealing with weighty issues of homelessness and insanity and the class structure even. You know, you've got like Jack falling from, you know, up on high all the way down to rock bottom, where he's like, you know, now having to deal with all these homeless people.
Getting mistaken for a homeless person.
And getting mistaken for one himself. And he just did such a great job on this film, man. Terry Gilliam, I've sung his praises all night, man. This is a great movie. I love it.
Yeah, I had somebody else, but that feels right. Terry Gilliam for the win. I liked Robin Williams, but I don't.
It's hard not to pick Robin
They're
Williams
all kind
in
of
this
on
movie.
par with each other. I think Mercedes Rule is really just inching it a little bit. Because she's pretty amazing in this movie.
You're right. And I was like you. I was almost going to give it to Mercedes Rule because she's kind of like the anchor of this movie.
Yeah.
You know, everything else is spinning out of control with between Jack and Parry and everything else that
And
they
she's
encounter.
very diverse. Like
and she's so grounded.
Has a lot of different like reactions and
I'll split the difference. I'll give it to both Mercedes and
Good call.
Terry.
Good call. I'll allow it.
Nice. Award for what are you doing here?
Oh, there's plenty.
Well, there's plenty to
Which
choose
one
from.
was your-
We're probably
which one
all
was your
going to
favorite
list it.
cameo?
I'm gonna say Tom Waits.
Yeah, I thought you would.
Because
Tom Waits was mine too.
Tom Waits doesn't, as you know, knowing more about him now than I did a few years ago, than being really just Renfield and The Dead Don't Die.
Yeah.
Once my buddies at work really got me into his music, it was just a complete surprise to see him in a Terry Gilliam movie. Although it wasn't. It's like at first you're like, oh, Tom Waits, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Of course you'd be in this.
It fit perfectly,
But
though,
that's the one that I got the most reaction from. Although there are plenty of others.
Yeah, absolutely.
David Hyde Pierce at first for me, where I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I forgot that he was in this movie.
Yeah.
But Harry Shearer, I got to give it to Harry Shearer because he plays the Jack
actor
character that he was going for, and I was like, he gave me the most like, oh, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, hey, I know that guy.
Holy shit!
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's cool because you, like you said, you got David Hyde Pierce at the beginning, and Mark Tom Waits stands out big time as far as like a cameo goes, and then you got John Delancey, and then you've got Harry Shearer. I mean, who do I pick?
Right.
It's tough to pick. I think I'm going to go with Tom Waits as well.
Because not only is it a great "What are you doing?"
Oh my
in
God,
this movie,
but
but he almost steals the movie.
Right. He has an awesome monologue.
Had he had been in this movie longer, he would have gotten my MVP.
If he was in the movie longer, he definitely steals the scene.
He does.
Because that's right after the waltz.
Yeah.
No, right before.
Yep.
Oh, right
No,
before? Right before
right?
the waltz. I mean, it happens still in...
It's happening kind of
happening while they're talking.
Oh, okay.
Because
kind of
Parry's off
simultaneously happening.
looking.
So, I mean, it's while you've got this great fantasy scene going on, you've got Tom Waits giving his commentary on homelessness and why, you know, people pay to not look at him in his predicament and blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's so good. So good.
Makes them feel better about themselves.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Again,
like,
hats off to
understands
Terry
his
Gilliam
purpose.
for pulling off that balancing act, man.
Yeah.
You got that high fantasy scene going on, and then you've got this commentary on the homelessness situation.
Just like very serious, kind of
so good.
deep. Tito?
This is like
Tom Waits.
Yeah.
I had Tom Waits also.
Okay.
Yeah, he has
what are
the
you doing in
biggest
this film?
impact for me.
He shows up in
It's not a
anything.
Jim Jarmusch movie, so I was just like, what the fuck is Tom Waits
That's
doing
what
here?
it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Down by Law.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so
Dead
awesome
Man.
in Down by Law.
He's in Dead Man, too.
And oh shit, what the hell is the other one? The friggin' cab movie. It's the anthology movie with all the cabs, and I forget the title. And it's so good. Coffee and cigarettes down by the... it's no, it's not a cab. It's One Night on Earth. Night on Earth. It's One Night on Earth, and there's these 4 cab stories at the same time. And there's an Italian one with Roberto Benigni, which is hilarious. The Winona Ryder one. It's Winona Ryder and Gina Rollins. Freaking awesome. Highly recommend this movie.
I remember that short. Yeah. I love movies like that.
I like Jim Jarmusch movies, actually. That's another one. Another one I'd like
He's not the one that did New York, I Love You, right?
No.
Because that's another good one with like a bunch of different side stories.
Yeah. No, I don't think he did that one.
Before we close, I want to ask, who do you think is the Fisher King and who do you think is the Fool?
Ooh.
Oh, that's deep.
Yeah, well, it's a deep episode.
So the Fisher King in the Fisher King story, he was gravely wounded and couldn't fulfill the quest on his own. Right. And so he had to rely on the Fool to bring him the Grail. So, I mean...
Robin Williams
would have to, even though he's modeling himself, he thinks of himself as Percival the Fool.
Right.
He's actually the Fisher King.
And Jeff Bridges has to find her himself.
That's why Jack is the Fool, because he was the Fool who, because of his own hubris, lost everything and had to refine. He had to
that's where I look at him as the Fisher King, and because technically, I mean, granted,
so are you saying they're both?
I think it's
equal parts Fisher King and Fool.
I think so. Oh, I do, because yes,
Fisher Fools.
Literally, Jeff Bridges, like Jack's the one that goes and finds gets the Grail. Like, so he completes the quest.
Welcome to 3 Geeky Philosophers.
Oh, jeez.
and he brings it back to Robin Williams.
Yeah,
making him the king. But at the same time, Jeff Bridges is this broken man.
He really
is. I think it's not so much a quest for the Grail with him.
Yeah,
it's a quest for redemption.
Yeah,
it's a quest of forgiveness for himself.
Yes,
and he can't do that on his own.
Yeah,
he needs Robin Williams, the Fool.
It's like he was saying when he was talking to the little Pinocchio doll, and he was talking about Nietzsche.
Right.
We're what you call the bungled and the botched. Or what Nietzsche called us as the bungled and the botched. And that's what all these people are. They're all broken toys.
Right. And I feel like Robin Williams is the one to kind of help him on that quest of his own.
Yeah.
That's how I see it, only because my interpretation of the Fisher King story is the Fool doesn't even realize he has it, where Jack actually is going.
That's true.
And getting the Grail.
That's true.
Robin Williams has no idea what kind of effect he's actually had on Jeff Bridges' character.
You've had the power to go home all along.
Yeah.
Right.
So I like Jack as the Fisher King and Robin Williams.
Well, I'm going to say I am the Fool. And you are all my Fisher Kings.
I've had enough of this world.
Very nice. Well, that's the Fisher King.
Nice.
Terry Gilliam's Fisher King.
Man, we are knocking them out of the park with these good movies.
Yeah. What
definitely
are we doing
recommended.
here?
I don't like this.
Yeah,
it's getting weird.
Mark, get us back on track.
Don't worry,
shitty.
it's coming up. It's coming up soon. Oh, we're saving the best for last.
Cheeto's ears are already bleeding.
They are. Look, you can see it. What's making the geek flag fly? Oh shit, it's me.
There we go.
I saw The Monkey, and Brian had talked about it last week.
I did.
I saw it. You guys know I was not as big a Longlegs fan as you guys were, but this movie is freaking awesome.
Yeah, also done by Oz Perkins, who did Longlegs.
Oswald Cobblepot there. Osgood Cobblepot. I went and saw it with our good friend Dean, friend of the show, frequent guest and hostage Dean.
Dean.
Thank you, Brian. We went and saw it. We both really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun, and Brian hit it on the head the last time. It's just a fun movie with great kills, very Final Destination like, very gory. Not all the kills are in the previews, so
that was my biggest concern.
That's a lot of people's
concern. Don't do that. No, there are way more kills,
There are
Derek.
plenty of surprises. It's a lot of fun. Great performance, great cast.
It's so good. So fun.
And my other thing very quickly was Sarah and I watched a movie on Amazon called Apocalypse Z, The Beginning of the End, which is a Spanish zombie horror drama. They say action too, but there is some action, but it's more of a drama, I think. Directed by Carlos Torrens, who I've never heard of, but this is a great film. It's all about a guy and his cat trying to survive the zombie apocalypse. For all you pet lovers, I am going to spoil this. The cat lives, so don't worry about it if you're worried about the cat. The cat, like my wife and my daughter was, because she came out for part of the movie. Does the cat die? No. Very, very good zombie movie. Check it out on Amazon. It's a beautiful film. You know, a high quality zombie film. A lot of drama. Great performances. If you like foreign horror, this is it.
Cool.
Nice. I originally didn't have anything, but then I realized earlier in the show I do have a couple of things. We mentioned Princess Bride earlier.
Yeah.
We showed Mara and Liam both the Princess Bride, and they both really liked it. So I'm so happy that they enjoyed it.
Get them hooked young.
Yep.
Nice. Good job.
And also, Elimination Chamber was this past weekend.
I watched that.
Yeah, and there's a huge
wrestling.
Yes.
Did you show the kids that?
Well, yeah, me and Liam watched it together.
Okay.
And something big happened, and it's something that really only wrestling fans would think is a big thing. Much like Hulk Hogan used to be like this, just always the good guy, and then it was shocking when he became a bad guy.
Yeah.
John Cena has turned heel.
Oh no,
no, Peacemaker.
And he had like gone on record. He would never play the bad guy. He always wanted, he's big with kids. But he kicked Cody Rhodes in the nuts and joined The Rock. And
he's so pale. He looks like he's got back problems.
He looks awful. Yeah,
he's wearing like dress shoes.
Somebody put out a meme a few years ago that said that the older John Cena gets, the more he starts to look like Ernest from Ernest Goes to the
it's
Camp.
fucking
And Ernest,
terrible.
Wasn't it you? Didn't you share that?
Yeah,
I might have, but I didn't create the meme.
I remember it.
Yeah,
because I remember it too.
Yeah,
and I usually don't pay attention to it.
John Stewart used that as a way to describe like the Ukraine and America situation. That's pretty fucking hysterical.
Yeah.
The way
Oh shit!
As an analogy for it's fucking hysterical.
It was funny. He's I mean it's and there was a couple really good storylines that kind of developed from it. Like there's a female wrestler, Jade Cargill. She came back. There was an awesome beatdown.
Yeah, that chick is fucking stacked.
She is awesome.
I've never seen a woman that looked like this in my life.
Right.
I was like, who the hell is this lady? She is whoa.
Like
dude.
Whoa. I wouldn't mind her playing Wonder Woman.
Oh, all right.
Like if they were gonna do their, the kind of like, we don't have to play it just like the comics, but she is jacked. She's beautiful. She's a beautiful woman.
That's what you need,
dude.
Proper
Etched
Wonder
in
Woman.
Stone.
Right.
This bitch is etched in stone.
Wow.
I mean, bitch in the nicest possible way.
Oh, of course.
Nice.
Of course. We don't mean it. Yeah.
So so that was fun.
I love them hoes.
And
Nice.
we're almost to WrestleMania. So
Yeah.
in Vegas.
Vegas, baby.
Oh, Vegas, baby.
Brian?
What stays in Vegas? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
What stays in Vegas happens in your pants.
That's right. So, really quick, I saw The Gorge. The movie with Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy. It's on Apple Plus.
Oh,
it was really good.
Cool. Check that out.
Do you have Apple Plus? Do you have
No.
No. If you did,
You could
If you did, you'd be able to watch this movie.
But no, it's really good. So they're
I can get my hands on it.
they're
though.
on. Yeah, I know you can. They're
That sounds dirty.
They're manning,
fell out the
The
back
gorge?
of the truck.
Yeah, I'll get my hands on
yeah,
it.
basically they're manning two different watchtowers on either side of this gorge.
Okay.
And they don't know why they're there. They were handpicked because they're the best of the best.
Oh.
And she's like...
Best of the best, sir.
And they
With
don't even know where they
honors.
are. They blindfold... Yeah.
Sorry, guy. They blindfold them.
So they blindfold them and send them out on this helicopter ride. They're both from two different countries too, so you don't know if this is like an Eastern, like Russia or like Western Europe kind of thing.
Oh, cool.
And so she's kind of like Russian or Lithuanian or something, and he's American, and they each have a tower on either side of this gorge, and they're watching for whatever, but they don't know what's down there. They just know from their predecessor, who they relieve at the beginning of the movie, that they're known as the Hollow Men are down there. And at one point, like after World War II, like a company of men, 50 or more strong, went down into this gorge, and none of them ever returned. So whatever's down there, they're their last. These two are the last line of defense. So They're not supposed to have contact with each other. Their job is to just monitor the gorge. And, of course, they start, flirting with each other through binoculars and
Two
whiteboards.
good-looking people, it's going to happen.
So, I mean, they start communicating and shit happens. Of course, they fall down into the gorge. Something happens. And,
Don't spoil it. I'll watch it.
It's a total hellscape, though. I mean, I'm just going to say the effects in the gorge are fantastic.
Cool.
And I'm not a huge fan of Miles Teller, but I really liked him in this movie. So check out The Gorge. I highly recommend it. I thought it was a real wild ride.
I have Apple Plus.
Yeah,
It's
check it out.
Movie night in March.
Highly recommend it. And a small rant because we're long on time here, and we still have to get to Tito. The Oscars were Sunday, and I was telling Mark that they did the in memoriam section. Totally left out Tony Todd. Totally left out Shannon Doherty. Totally left out Trachtenberg. Totally left out Bernard Hill, who was in Titanic and The Lord of the Rings, and a few others which I am forgetting right now, but it's just a shame. So we're mentioning them here. You guys are not forgotten on this podcast.
Absolutely. R.I.P. also Gene Hackman. You were loved by many.
Yeah, and David Johansen, who was hot.
Buster Poindexter.
And he was in Scrooge.
Scrooge.
Yeah.
Niagara Falls, Frankie Baby.
Yeah, and was it Tales from the Dark Side or was it Tales from the Crypt?
Tales from the Dark Side fights the cat from hell.
That's the one.
So rest in peace those who are mentioned and fuck the Oscars.
Free Jack with Emilio
He was in
Estevez.
Free Jack, yes, he was.
And who's the lead singer?
Mick Jagger.
Mick Jagger.
I want to put out a scratch.
Renee Russo. Niagara Falls, Frankie Baby.
Frankie Angel.
I got nothing new. I'm still listening to Heat 2. I got like 7 hours left.
Oh, wow.
It's like
That's
16 hours. It's just long. It's so good, though.
Yeah, you're liking it?
But I haven't watched anything new, but I did see something recently that really tickled me.
Tickle me Elmo. Tickle me Tito.
French tickle me Elmo.
Because I feel the same way. I feel like a lot of people feel the same way. I saw recently that Robert Pattinson was like, I hope we make this movie soon or I'll be the old Batman.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And I thought, what the fuck, guys?
Yeah,
like, not
seriously.
Just movies in general. Just fucking make them.
Make them.
Hurry up and make them.
Yeah.
I get tired of sitting around waiting for these
people are
fucking
going to
things.
lose interest.
There's no excuse. People were
years.
cranking out movies in the old days.
Yeah.
And if they worked, they worked. If they didn't, they just cranked out more.
It's not even like that guy did the Penguin because somebody else wrote that.
Exactly.
So fucking make a movie, man.
Seriously.
You finally got a home run. You finally got something good. You can
Make some
sit on
movies.
this for too long.
Pattinson's new movie.
Mickey 17.
I want to see that so
looks
bad.
fantastic. I finally saw the trailer for that.
Yeah.
Because you guys know I talk about it all the time. We go to the movies every Tuesday night, my dad, my brother, and I. And I've seen the posters there, but never saw a trailer. Every week we go, I've never seen a trailer for Mickey 17. Well, I sought it out on my own, like either this past weekend or the weekend before. And oh my God, I want to see this movie. It looks so freaking good.
Really, really good.
It reminds me of the movie.
Have you seen Parasite?
Huh?
Have you seen Parasite?
I've seen Parasite,
that's right.
and
It's the same director,
I've seen
right?
The Host, which was it Bon Hong
Byun,
yeah. I've seen his two big movies, so I'm
There it
looking
is.
forward to this. But it reminds me of the movie Moon that had Sam Rockwell in it.
Oh, yeah. I saw
it
that.
looks so good, so good. So yeah, Robert Pattinson's still doing stuff, even though he's not doing Batman.
That's right.
Yeah, he's doing.
Yeah, he's doing well.
And he's good.
He's trying to wait around.
Yeah, Derek is coming around.
He's a great actor.
I heard that about
I'm a
him.
huge fan.
Yeah.
Well, guys, Derek wasn't.
That's
sorry.
right.
Do you have anything else?
No. That's
I
all.
thought he
Yeah,
said
yeah.
go.
Sorry. Well, guys, Derek wasn't always a fan of Rob Pattinson, and there's an episode when we talked about the Batman all those years ago, and you can find all of these things in past episodes of Three Geeky Dads. And if you're saying to me, Mark, you incredibly handsome dickweed, how can I find these past episodes? Because this is my first time listening to this show, and boy, you all are awesome. Brian, where can they go?
Well, Mark, they can go to www.3gdpodcast.com. That's www.3gdpodcast.com. And as Mark said, you'll be able to find all of our past episodes there, including the ones where Derek hated Robert Pattinson. And also, while you're there, there are one-click buttons where you can easily subscribe to us if you haven't already. Hit one of those buttons, and you will never miss an upcoming episode where Derek gushes about Robert Pattinson. Also at the website, there's a spot where you can easily rate and review the show. A 5-star rating and a review go a long way to help push our little show a bit further forward from the rest of the podcast pack. And most importantly, it makes it easier for others to find us while they're searching. Also at the website, let's see, our social media presences are linked there. We can be found at Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and the audio portion of our show can be found weekly at YouTube as well. And we also have a Ko-fi page, which is also linked to the website. It's kind of the hub of our little universe, people. The Ko-fi page is where if you like the show, you might want to make a small donation to help keep, I keep saying kelp.
Kelp.
SpongeBob's getting in the way.
Get us some kelp, man.
Kelp. Not just anybody.
To help keep the show going, help keep the lights on, help keep the server humming.
Because keep Brian's cat away from the cords.
That's
dude.
it. Help me replace my goddamn headphone cables because
the cat
keeps chewing through them. Fucking cat.
Fucking cats.
Yeah. So as we say, podcasting's not cheap. Head over to the website www.3gdpodcast.com and you will find the link to our Ko-fi page there as well. I think that's pretty much it, gentlemen. So thank you out there, everybody, for listening. If this is your first time, thank you very much. If you are a longtime listener, thank you for sticking with us all these years. And with that being said, back to you, Mr. Mark.
Oh, I like that. Thank you, Mr. Brian. Thank you, Mr. Gentleman. Thank you, Mr. Peter. Thank you, Mr. Joel, Mr. Cleveland. Everybody's name with Mr. And thank you, Mr. Thank you, Mr. And thank you all out there for tuning in as always. And be sure to catch our next show as we continue this in the March of Madness with another maddening, fun, insane, off the wall film. So until next time, for Three Geeky Dads, I'm Mark.
I'm Derek.
I'm Brian.
I'm Tito.
Saying goodnight and keep watching the skies because I got to keep my eyes from the wandering skies. Tongue-tied, twisted, just an earthbound misfit.
Aye. That's Pink Floyd for you.
There you go. I was wondering if anybody would get
I got it.
Speaking of trippy. There you go.
I'm going to keep this shit up. Look at you don't know that one?
I don't know that one.
Yeah, Learning to Fly from the Momentary Lapse of Reason
It's
album.
a band, Pink Floyd.
When are you going to do something?
Oh, you know Pink Floyd.
1985?
Well, I don't worry.
I'm waiting for it.
All right, I got to pee.
I got a whole bag of with your name on it.
This is preemptive to let you know. I got a whole bash with your name on it.
Antidote.
Well,
who made that sound?
that was me.
Where did it come from?
I don't know.
Your mouth?
From the depths of Mark's soul.
Oh, that. Get a flat? All right,
That's
making
disgusting.
that sound. That's terrible.
Tito, it's all for you. I did it all for you,
Makes
Damien.
my skin crawl.
It's all for you,
Damien!
Did I tell you about what happened to my nose?
Damien?
No. Can you see like there's?
No, you cut it.
So I bought a thing of pineapple chunks
Jesus Christ.
from Big Y, and when I tried to take off the plastic lid, it was like just jammed on there. So I put the bottom one in between my teeth and tried to pull up the other one, and it snapped back and like just sliced the fuck out of my nose. I had a big chunk of skin missing.
Wow.
And it would not stop bleeding.
I wouldn't tell that story to too many people.
Why not?
Well, because...
Blood.
Yes, that's it. Blood.
Nose.
Dude.
I might have gone
Pineapple.
top lid teeth, bottom finger.
I should have just, maybe used scissors or something. I don't know.
Never finger a can, first of all.
Did it have the thing around the side?
No,
You
it
just
wasn't a
peel the
can.
plastic off?
No, it was one of those square. It was one of those
It's
square
one of those
plastic
containers
ones.
that's simple enough for a child, but not Derek.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was not a it was
not
a
a fair
container.
statement.
Like
That's not a
Derek's
fair
kids
statement.
could get into the pineapple, but Derek can't get into the
No,
pineapple.
it was an actual pineapple.
guarantee.
for
Liam, open
sure.
this pineapple for
I
me.
guarantee both of your kids can get into the pineapple.
No, it was like really jammed in there. I don't know. It wasn't my fault.
Maybe it had slippery
That's the
fingers.
second issue I've had with Big Y
Maybe
pineapple.
slippery
too.
fingers.
It's
Maybe
Big
your
Y.
fingers
You
slippery.
bought from a company called Big Y.
As
You
in,
know,
like,
you know where
why?
all that
Why
stuff
did
comes
I
from?
buy from Big
Exactly.
Y?
You know where all
My
that stuff
father-in-law loves Big Y.
Oh,
well, I mean, it's the closest place to my work.
He used to work in
right up the
Mass,
street.
so he liked to go there. We don't have them here.
No?
There's no Big Y's in Rhode Island.
No.
Not that I'm aware of.
So Rhode Island's smart.
I don't know.
You know what pisses me off is that they charge you 10 cents for a bag, and without fail, hold this from the bottom, just in case. Like, well, then you shouldn't be charging me 10 cents for a bag that I can't use the goddamn handles that are built into it. Sorry.
You need a 15
Why are
cent
you
bag
yelling
at
at me
least. They charged me 25 or 50 cents to buy a bag at Five Below. I didn't realize. You want a bag? We can charge you for it. And I was like, of course I want a bag. Everything I have is like smaller than 2 inches. I have 50 things and they're all tiny.
Gotta go in with something with pockets.
Yes, of course I need a bag.
What am I supposed to do?
Unbelievable. Yeah. I gave the bag to my daughter. I was like, here, have Merry Christmas. This bag's for you too.
I gave it to the baby.
Money, it's a gift.
There we go.
Yeah. Go play with this plastic bag. Nothing bad's ever come of that.
No, it's like
situation.
that.
No.
It's not quite cloth. You know those bags they give you?
Oh, like the canvas. Like,
yeah,
that would
quite
be canvas.
It's not
almost
cloth.
fabric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's because they're recyclable. So they're very that's why they're so flimsy.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty sturdy.
Like the Target bags.
The
and
last
they have them at Target. They have them at,
I see a lot of people, they like the green thank you. They like green thank you bags now. There's like a paper.
Yeah, the problem is I buy those and then I forget to fucking put them in the car. Like I bring the shit in.
Yeah.
And then
that happens to us all the time.
And then I go to the store again and I'm like,
we
shit.
have no bags because they're all here at the door.
Right.
That we forget to grab on our way out.
Son of a bitch.
That's the idea, I think.
Fucking companies.
Fucking companies, indeed.
Reaganomics.
Voodoo economics.
Yes.
Don't know how you do the voodoo that you do.
Ryan, did you find them yet?
Huh?
You got your notes?
Yeah, I got my notes.
Yay.
I'm good now.
Do you want to switch headphones though?
No, I'm
From
fine.
the
I can hear you now.
cloud?
Okay.
All right.
You pulled them from the cloud?
I did.
The
Sick.
cloud.
The Connor McCloud?
The cloud.
The cloud.
All right.
You talk funny, Nash. Where you from?
All right.
You guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
A lot of places.
Pittsburgh. I'm from Pittsburgh.
Is that what you said?
We all talk funny in Pittsburgh.
We all talk
What
funny
did he
in
say?
Pittsburgh. He goes
I thought he
lots
says
of different
places. That's what
A lot of places. That works too.
I've been everywhere, man.
I've been everywhere.
If he knew how to speak English, he would have said a lot of
You would
places.
have been. I've been everywhere, man. I'm from Minnesota. There can be only one, eh? Oh no, that's Canada.
No, there can only be one. Don't
golly,
you know?
There's only one, don't you know? Only one man with a sword. Come on, QT Kurgan.
Oh, it's so cold up in Minnesota.
so
The
cold.
stuff in my nose just froze. Don't you know?
Oh, don't you see that Kurgan? He's a big one, isn't he, Steve? Steve? No, David. No, I don't like that music, David.
No, Connor, no here.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Or the week after next. Because this is the first one, right?
Yeah, this is
Okay, so we have time.
That's the first one.
Welcome to March, Mark.
Thank you. Mark,
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi,
March.
March.
Oh, hi, March.
The March of Madness.
Oh, hi, March.
Oh, hi, March.
An entire month devoted to Tommy Wiseau.
Oh, my God.
Well, he's got 4 films.
We haven't even seen Big Shark yet. How can we?
Does he?
Can we find it anywhere?
Well, there's 2 volumes of Best Friends.
That's
That's
true.
Fiends.
I don't know what that is.
Fiends, that's right. Fiends. Which I have, and I just
You
haven't
do.
watched it yet. Because I don't want to
Just
watch
like
it
everything
alone.
else on your voodoo.
I'm very scared to watch it alone. I would rather
I'll
watch it with
you.
What's it called? Something Shark? What's it called?
Big Shark. I
Big
don't know.
Shark.
I don't know if it's streaming anywhere.
And he had one in between, too. I forget what the...
I don't remember.
He is
follow-up was.
in Samurai Cop 2. He's a henchman. I
Is
know
he?
that. Yes, that's all I know.
Very
I
scary.
don't know any more than
Scariest henchman.
that. Oh hi, henchman. Oh hi, Samurai.
I don't think it's streaming on anything.
I don't think it's out
Smart.
yet.
No, it came out in 23.
Oh shit.
Not even a movie?
Oh my
It
god.
came out April 2nd, 2023.
I'll bet you got to be able to find it on them internet.
It's got to be.
It was almost a year ago.
All right, somewhere. All right, let's do this.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
Back at the apartment.
Oh, jeez, you're boring yourself.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. I'm sorry.
You're gonna make it. You're gonna make it.
I'm gonna make it.
Yeah, you'll do it. You'll do it.
You're doing a good job.
Nice.
Back at their apartment.
You're a machine rock.
I'm sorry.
I'm a wrecking machine.
Jack goes on a downward spiral both personally and professionally after a glib comment he makes to one of his regular callers results in that caller going on a murder spree at a trendy downtown bar. 3 years later, when Jack hits rock bottom and is close to suicide, he is saved by a seemingly crazy and homeless man named Parry, played by Robin Williams. Parry does have mental health issues, namely hallucinations. Excuse me.
What a word.
I can't even get it out.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's a great movie.
Like a bunch of different stories.
Yeah, that all take shape with...
It's not 200 cigarettes, is it?
No, it's cab... Oh, shit, this is driving me nuts.
Cabbies of New York or something like that, isn't it?
Hold on. I'll get it because I know there are people who are listening to this who introduced me to Tom Waits and they're crucifying me right now.
That's all right. We can edit all this searchy part out. That's what editing's for.
That's
and
right.
You know who I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I could never finish.
I know, because you're lame. And
I mean, yeah, I suppose.